doing is setting my timer. Set timer for 28 minutes. Because...
Okay, 28 minutes and counting.
The fucking thing only records for 30 minutes and it'll turn off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. I guess I'll pull up something on my phone real quick.
We got a toaster oven that does that. Cooks for 30 minutes and then shuts off.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Especially when you put in something that needs to cook for like an hour. You think it's going to be done in an hour and you come back in a half hour and it's still frozen.
Like an actual food toaster?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, this is the first time I've had anybody on the podcast. This is my buddy Jake. I guess, I don't know, I met you at the gym.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of gym. I think, because what year did you graduate?
Well, I got my GED, but I'm 34, so it was like 2004 or 5.
Yeah, so you probably were around my brother's time frames, because I think one of my Michael and Nathan Kennedy.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I think Mike was 01, I think.
That's
01 or 02.
Definitely that's middle school time for me.
And then my other brother.
No, 01 is
like,
ninth grade.
It was like 4 years after that, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, because from 99 to 2000, I think I was in 8th grade because I remember the big fucking everybody freaking out time change.
Yeah.
The years changing, thinking that the power was going to go out. So, all right. Well, fucking to make this not weird, and just jump in some questions because I took some time and wrote like 4 or 5 questions just to get the conversation started. So the first one we kind of already answered. Who are you?
Yep.
Jake Kennedy.
State Farm. I got khakis on too.
He does have khakis.
I do. That's great.
And you went to Crestview High School the whole time?
Yep.
What middle school did you go to?
Davidson.
I went there for summer school.
Dude, I hated Davidson.
It was weird because Richburg's all kind of like you walk outside from class to class, and Davidson was all inside. It looked like.
So when we moved here, I guess I was like 4, I think.
Yeah.
And I went to school at Southside. We used to live behind the hospital. And then we moved in 5th grade when I was in 5th grade. And then I had to go to Davidson. I literally knew nobody.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I was like that.
In 5th grade, so it's your last grade. That's your last time in elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
My mom drugged me from the house to the south side for the end of that, and then I started Davidson the next year. And
that sucks too because most of the kids you went to high school or the elementary school didn't go to Davidson, did they?
No,
they went to Richburg.
There was like 3 people, and I didn't have any classes with any of them.
It was like deja vu.
Yeah, I was like, oh man.
I went to Northwood, Richburg, and straight to Crestview High School. So all of mine was kind of the same. Everybody, I've known everybody forever. Most of the people I know around here, I've known my whole life.
Dude, it was all man. Getting from Davidson to 8th grade and then jumping 9th grade straight to Crestview.
Yeah,
it was like all these people I knew from elementary school. I'm like, yo, what's up?
Like, what is the time gap?
Who is this dude? I'm like,
oh. Did you play any sports in middle school or high school?
So, I played City League baseball like the entire time I lived here. I never played middle school baseball. I never even tried out. I don't even know why. I just in my head, I just never did it. I was super self-conscious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't want your friends to actually see you play or try out?
I think it was more because
I
legitimately did not know anybody.
Yeah.
It was 6th grade, I made a couple of friends. 7th grade, a couple more friends. And then 8th grade, I made a couple friends, missed some school, and then came back, and then by the time 9th grade came around, I had a pretty solid group of friends.
Yeah.
But middle school, man, it was weird. It was a weird time frame.
I think I tried out in middle school for football, but man, when it came to getting a physical, I was one of those shy dude. I was shy. I didn't want to whip my dangle out and let anybody fondle my balls. I didn't want people to see me with my shirt off because I wasn't fat, but I don't know. I don't know where I got that self-consciousness from. But when I was a little kid, I used to keep my shirt on when I went places and get in the water.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Tell you what, those sports physicals are nothing like MEPS though.
Man, yeah. Oh man, when you're like your feet are
dude.
there's like painted areas for your feet to go in. But before we get into MEPS, in high school, what year did you decide to go in the military? Like, when did you decide to do that? Was it in high school or was it after high school? Did you do a little living?
It was, I would say it was 9th grade. So my biggest influence for joining the military was my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
He fought in the Korean War, and to me, that was like my dude.
Yeah.
You know, anytime we'd go visit them, it was like me and Grandpa.
He didn't tell you all the cool war stories and just
No,
not really.
no.
Yeah, my papa didn't either.
Never got into that. You know.
Yeah.
He got out of the Army and everything, and then jumped straight into railroads.
Oh dang.
So like their house was decked out with like railroad stuff, and he's got huge railroad spikes. There's some railroad ties and stuff.
There's
like
still good
that.
money in that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just maintain, because they all got to be maintained. So
Oh,
maintaining them, there's still super
Yeah.
good money.
That's a physical job too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I talked to at the gym. There was one of the guys that worked there. I think he was a head of the personal train at one point. He said he used to drive the train or like conduct them.
Oh yeah, he's the engineer or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Whatever
He's
they
had
call it.
problems. He's had like stories with people straight up like suicide.
Dude,
like
yeah.
like he said one dude walked out there with a cigarette and like he was just, I guess there was a bar close to there and he
Yeah.
just got crazy. He said he just like smoked a cigarette and he could see him and he was trying to pull the brakes. There's nothing they could do and he just, as soon as he's done with the cigarette, he just like laid down over the track and donezo.
Yeah, man. I read a Reddit thread like dedicated to railroad like horror stories, like all sorts of stuff, and none of it's good, man.
I wonder how many actual accidents happen or if they're mainly like the majority are on purpose. Because
Yeah.
dude, in order for it to be an accident, you gotta be sitting on the railroad for
Yeah.
it's coming. It's way down there and it's loud. It rumbles. When I was a kid, I played on the train tracks all the time. I used to put pennies on it and let them run them over.
Yeah.
So your grandfather went into the railroad industry.
All right, yeah. So he did all that, and then in 8th grade, I missed a lot of school because he was in and out of the hospital a lot. He ended up passing away.
What, if you don't mind, like what was this?
So
Big
it was cancer, and he went in. He had like a couple of open heart surgeries, and he thought it was like same kind of thing he was having issues with. They went in.
Just a hair. Yeah. Go ahead.
Move a little closer.
Yeah.
So he had a couple
you
of
go.
issues, and he went in to get checked out, and they took like I guess a full body scan, and
Yeah.
they found a mass on his brain. So then they went in for like a biopsy just to see what was going on, and he basically never came back out of that. So like he went from the biopsy, and then they put him in the ICU and everything, and he was on life support from then on.
Yeah.
And then I think it was once I was in 9th grade, because like the midst of the couple months of 8th grade, like I failed some classes and I fell really far behind.
Dude, that's a lot of time to miss
It is.
in 8th grade is middle school. That's a lot of time to miss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a quarter of your year. More.
I ended up taking like pre-algebra again or something like that, and I almost failed. Was it world history or American history or something like that?
Yeah.
Almost just failed it, and the only reason why I passed that class was because basically the teacher came up to me and he was like, "Dude, you're gonna fail." He's like, "There's no point in you even doing anything because you're that far behind."
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, "Okay, all right." So then I like legitimately studied and was like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
had to
gonna fail.
actually like
actually had to try
the shit that
and,
most people don't do.
yeah, yeah. But so once that happened, 9th grade rolled around, I was just like over school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it anymore. And like I initially had plans because my dad was Air Force, retired Air Force, and I had plans. I was like, I'm gonna go be a fighter pilot. So like 9th grade is when I decided that didn't do any research or anything into any of that. I was just like,
Watch fucking Top Gun and let's send it.
I was like, Tom Cruise is the man. I was
Top
like,
Gun, and what was the Will Smith one? The
Independence
Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And I decided to do all that, and then we had that college day or whatever.
Yeah, where a bunch of college guys come and talk to you about their different.
And we had that day came up where you could go to the campus or whatever, and get a day out of school or something like that.
Hold on 1 second. What, baby? Told you what? Yeah, we're doing this, so I need you to go back inside, baby. Okay? Or you can just go sit down, but you gotta be quiet. All right, I'll probably just cut that little part out. So you're in high school and you're talking to colleges.
Yeah, so it was
after you've already decided you want to be a fighter pilot.
Yeah, so it was like the college day or whatever, and we could all go to like your campus and do a campus tour or a little orientation kind of thing. And if they sign off on it, you're out of school for a day.
Oh, so you get to go.
I went up to, I can't remember who it was. I think it was the assistant principal at the time.
Chevy, go inside, baby. Thank you. Sorry.
I think it was the assistant principal at the time, and I asked him, I was like, if I go see a recruiter and they sign off on this, can I
go hang out with them?
Yeah, same thing.
That actually sounds badass for a high school kid.
I told him, I was like, I don't plan on going to college.
Yeah.
I was like, and if I do, it's not going to be for, at least another however long their contracts are.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, it was like, as long as somebody signs off on it and they have it's official and everything, I was like, that's cool with me. And I was like, awesome. So that day I went down to Fort Walton Beach.
The big recruiting station over there by, there was a grocery store in there.
Yeah, I think it was
they literally had all 4 branches, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So I walked straight in the Air Force, and I was 16 at the time. Walked in, sat down, briefly spoke.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're like, Air Force, what are you thinking about doing? I was like, have you taken the ASVAB, all that stuff? And I was like, no, none of that. And then I was like, I want to be a fighter pilot. And they gave me that look, like, like every other kid that walks in here,
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, if you thought about college or anything yet? And I was like, no, that's why I'm here talking to you guys.
I wanted you to have some credits.
Yeah, they're like, well, you should probably get a degree in like math or engineering, some other stuff. And I'm like, what?
Like, what does that have to?
Yeah, I was like, what does that got to do with flying a plane? But so I immediately was like, I don't want to do school.
I think the pilot school, I think the schooling in the military, like the actual to become a fighter pilot, is probably pretty rigorous.
Oh yeah.
So probably going to college would probably kind of like prompt you into studying and doing what you need to do.
Their flight schools in general are rough.
Especially, I imagine actual jet flight school is probably insane.
A $1 billion freaking airplane or whatever it is. It's nuts. But
so college wasn't the answer you wanted to hear out of his ass.
No. So I literally I walked out of there, and I walked straight into the Army recruiting office.
Yeah.
And they were like, how old are you? And I was like 16. And they're like, all right, get out of here.
They didn't want to talk to you, dude.
And then so I walked out, and I walked straight into the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, like nobody in my family has done anything, Marine Corps related. I had no idea anything about the Marines.
That was my first choice.
Yeah, I knew nothing, right?
Yeah.
I walked in there, like sat down. I'm not even kidding. It was like 3 hours later. And I'm like, whoa, like I just got so much information, sat here and talked to these dudes forever. And,
one thing about the Marines, man, they're proud of like who they are, so they're not gonna give you the cold shoulder,
Not at all, man. They'll talk to anybody too.
I mean, that's been my experience. It's probably not always the case, but it's been my experience.
I know for me, it was just the difference between all the interactions of just the Air Force, the Army, and the Marines. At that point, I was like, that was when I was like dead set. I was like Marine Corps, and they were cool. They're like, you're 16 right now, so we can't seriously do anything at all. Yeah. But, the second you turn 17, we can actually start, processing and doing some other stuff. And they're like, you won't actually be able to leave unless your parents, sign the little slip or whatever, the waiver. And so when I turned 17, I came back and started, doing all the paperwork. getting all that started, figuring out, you know.
Is that right after you turned 17?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. It's like my birthday's in August, so it was like that school year. And they came to the house and talked to my mom and dad. My mom was like super against it.
Yeah.
Because like I distinctly remember the first time I ever really talked about, you know, joining the military. She was like, just don't join the Army or Marines. All they do is teach you how to kill people. And I was like, Mom, you're married to an Air Force guy. Like, how do you even know that?
Yeah.
But so they came by and talked to her, and then she immediately was like, wow, this is way better than, you know, the Air Force guy that recruited, you know, my husband. And she ended up signing. Dad signed. In September of 2009, I enlisted. And
Did they start PTing you before you actually went to enlist? Did you like do the little like after school go do PT? And
yeah, they once I enlisted, I think technically I was property at that point, so they could actually do it then. I know they had some rules and some stipulations and stuff.
So it's weird because when you go to MEPS, it's like you go one time and then you sign all your paperwork, but then before you ship out, you end up going again.
Yep.
So I think that, I don't know, I feel like that contract, like I feel like when you first sign up, that's just like a pre thing, and I think you can bail out on it without any real repercussions because you're not getting paid yet. But then after that, then you really go.
Yeah, that it was cool though, because once I did that, I think it was like Tuesdays and Thursdays we would PT, and that was like the first time I ever really like worked out. I guess.
Really?
Yeah, because like before then, you know, so I was like 130 pounds.
Yeah,
and I was a runner, so you can see how that I legitimately like.
So you're a prime Air Force candidate, right?
100%. Like I was Air Force all the way, man. I was ready to go, but they, you know, because they do pull ups and everything, like strict dead hang. I could do like 4.
Like I was like that in high school too. I could.
It
do
was
nothing.
Bad. I was like, I'm sitting here trying to do it, and I'm like, God, I'm so.
Were you in ROTC at all?
No.
Oh yeah.
No, I never did any of that. Our ROTC, you know, like teachers or whatever, they were super cool because I went and talked to him at one point.
I was Fox. I think it was the guy. Yeah.
It was Fox and another guy, and they were both, I think, Army.
Yeah.
And I talked to him, and they were like, you know, you can get an ROTC now. Like, it's not too late, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, well, I just wanted some info, you know. They were talking about going to college and doing this and that. And I'm like, dude, like, I already, like, straight up enlisted. So, like,
it's already too late.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know? But they were pretty cool. I think they were definitely more pushing people towards, you know, the officer stuff.
Yeah.
Because I guess FSU has a awesome ROTC program or something.
I mean,
like
that's
that.
a cool thing to do, but a lot of people, like, when you decide that you're going to join the military, a lot of times the last thing you want to do is put like a 4-year gap between you and actually getting in the dirt and doing what you want to do.
Yep.
And because I went to the college when I was going to enlist, I couldn't. They wouldn't let me because I had a GED.
Yeah, we had a couple of kids with GED waivers. That I was in. I guess they call it the DEP, delayed entry program, or something like that. They had a couple of kids that they had to do the waivers for and everything.
That drives you nuts because you're waiting like 6 or 8 months before you ship out.
Dude, so
counting down the days.
My parents signed the paper. My mom signed the papers with the stipulation of getting to choose when I leave.
Okay.
So that was like September 2009. She chose August 2010. So,
dude,
yeah, it sucked, man. Like, there was guys that like enlisted like right before we graduated that were leaving for boot camp before I was, and I was getting so frustrated, you know. I was so mad. But then like afterwards, she told me, she was like, you know, I gave you like one last summer, right?
Yeah,
like,
to be a kid. Yeah.
And I was like, you know, like it didn't dawn on me at the time. Now I really appreciate it, you know.
Yeah, that's
like,
the summer you don't got shit to do.
I grew up a lot that summer, you know.
Yeah.
And I think if it was legitimately, I think if it was like I had left right after graduation, I would have been a lot worse off, or I might not have even, you know, like went. Yeah. You know, but
that's the way that goes. Yeah, I tried to enlist even after I was working at the prison. I was working there for about 4 years as a correctional officer, and I went into that recruiting station, my first idea was I was going to Marines because I'd seen all the stuff at the prison that I could do, like the CERT team, the rapid response team, all that crap. And none of it, I mean, it was all if anybody's listening that's part of that, like around here, it was all kind of a joke. It's not,
it's a recruiting ad too.
Yeah. And so I was like, man, I'm just kind of, I seen the way things were going at the prison, and I was just like, at first when I started working, I wanted to retire there and all that. And just seeing how it was going, it was really just like a good old boy, like ain't shit happening, man.
Yeah.
So I went to the Marines, and dude, my conversation was like 5 minutes with that guy. He was like, so I was still in uniform too. I was in my correctional uniform. He's like, so you have a GED? Well, unless you have 15 college credits, there's nothing I can do with you. And I was like, damn. The Army guy, I went over to the Army guy, and he said the same thing. And then I got super desperate, and I went to the Navy, and they said the same shit. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll enlist in I'll enroll in college.
Yeah.
So I did. Then I dropped out because I seen like a Facebook post from my cousin who dropped out and got a GED. And she was like, yeah, I'm leaving for Army basic and whatever. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How?
How is that happening?
And she told me that they had the waiver because they're not always offering those waivers. She told me they had the waiver, and I was like, well, thanks, recruiter, for not, calling me and letting me know.
Yeah.
But I went right away and friggin' enlisted. I failed my first ASVAB. Though I didn't fail it, but you have to score higher if you have a GED than if you're a high school graduate.
Yeah.
You have to make like a 50 or a 51.
With a GED?
Yeah. And if you're a high school graduate, you can make a 30 or 31.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. I don't know why. So I had to, what I did was I bought the ASVAB for Dummies book, and I ripped out the math portion. And when I worked at the prison, I pissed off my captain, so he'd send me in the tower.
Oh,
I'd fold that shit up, and I'd bring blank paper, and I'd fold it up, and I'd stuff it in the bottom of my lunchbox because you're not supposed to bring reading material in there.
Yeah.
I'd step in the tower, and I'd rewrite algebra lessons in my own words. So I taught myself algebra, and I was thinking, why didn't I do this shit in high school? Why didn't I just take the time to study? And then, after 30 days, you could retake the ASVAB, and I took it, and I went into depth just like you did. And I actually got a friend of mine, Joey Benoit, to join with me. So they gave me, I went in as an E3 instead of an E1.
Yeah. I didn't, man.
Did you get any kind of like perks when you went in?
No. I didn't get anything. So I enlisted security forces. So like
the name security forces, not to bash security forces, but that name, I feel like it brings about, if you don't know what security forces is, I feel like it brings about a prestige that is like, when you hear security forces, you're thinking like, that dude's SF, right? Like that dude's
not at all.
And the bad thing is there's so many people that are security forces that bring that about. But anyway, so you were going to go security forces?
So yeah, I had like my 3 contracts or whatever. Like it was like recon, intel, and I had infantry, and my recruiter slid in a couple of his choices.
Yeah.
And one of his was also intel, and then security forces. And I didn't know anything about any of that. So in the Marine Corps, you have security forces with a PRP option. I guess PRP is for basically on-site, protective response team kind of things for like certain assets we have stateside.
Oh, okay.
I think there's like 2 or 3 places, I think, or something like that. You also have fast teams.
Yeah.
Security forces. Fast teams are what you want if you want.
It was like a rapid response.
Yeah. So fast is the guys that basically, I can't remember the acronym for it.
Yeah.
But those are the guys you hear about responding to embassy stuff.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I think there's like 3 companies, and they each have their own section of the globe that they cover.
Now that sounds pretty.
It's pretty cool. I know a couple of dudes that went through fast, and they're pretty awesome. They got to do some cool shit.
Yeah.
I didn't get so lucky. I signed his security forces PRP option.
Yeah.
And when I was in boot camp, I got screened for presidential presidential security or something like that. And no idea what that was either.
It just doesn't sound appealing.
It didn't, but in boot camp, like, it was great because I got out of, basically get my shit kicked in, for like a few hours to go listen to these people talk about presidential. And they did it. Man, they run a good campaign.
I bet.
It was they showed you some, like SWAT footage and all this other stuff, and you're like, dude, I'm gonna be a badass. Like, this is gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
And so they say that you have the option if you want to do it or if you don't want to do it.
That's what they say.
But they also at the end of that said, but if we really want you, we're gonna get you.
Yeah.
So,
it's the needs of the Marines.
So I guess the only people they choose from for that at that point in time were security forces and 03.
Oh, so that wasn't an MOS that you would go into.
No.
You had to kind of go and be selected.
So in the Marine Corps for the security forces, it's actually a secondary MOS. Your primary is 03, whatever.
Yeah.
And once you get done with the infantry school and you're awarded that, primary infantry MOS, you go through the B-billet school of Marine Security Forces. And it's out in freaking bumfuck Virginia. Yeah, Chesapeake Bay. And you're on like I think it's a naval Coast Guard like joint.
At least you probably had good food there.
Dude, it was great. Yeah. It was pretty cool. It sucked. I went through in like the winterish time.
Yeah, Virginia in the wintertime doesn't sound good.
It was like February to April, I think. And it was bad. But I mean, it was cool. That's where I got like, my first real Liberty and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's where I got my moto tat at. Yeah.
So how long is that? Like, so you go through boot camp and you go through your infantry stuff, or is that kind of the first phase of boot camp is like your infantry stuff, and then you go into, so the Army, you go through your basic training, then you go to your, I guess the regular guys go to, what is it, AIT?
Yeah.
After
something
training.
like that.
The infantry guys, they stay there on OSET, so it's one station unit training. So you literally stay in the same bed with the same drill sergeants, and
that sucks.
Get your shit kicked in a little bit,
sucks.
Longer. But so you go through your infantry stuff, and then you graduate infantry, right?
Yeah.
And then go to your actual MOS or secondary MOS.
So when I went through, August, it was a 3-month boot camp or 13 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
So August to November for me, and then middle of November, because we get 10 days boot leave right there, unless you get a recruitment option or something, then you get like 30 days to go help recruit people.
Yeah, hang out.
Something like that, yeah. I tried to, it didn't
that would be so cool, yeah.
I didn't know anything about it either, and I was just like, 30 days, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But
I didn't want no part of it. I wanted to get into whatever I was getting into.
Yeah.
Let me reset this camera real quick.
All right. Dude, I got one of those GoPro 9s.
Yeah. Is it badass?
Dude, it's fucking sweet.
I have the DJI, their action camera, the Osmo Action. Yeah. It's the first one with the front-facing screen.
Yeah.
So I went from the GoPro that was prior to that, and I've been contemplating getting the new GoPro.
Yeah, that new GoPro I have has the front-facing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It makes everything so much cooler, like, and easier to
I don't know how you could ever have used the old camera where you don't know if you're in frame or not.
Yeah, you're just like,
that's such a pain, dude.
All right, especially I think that's gonna work.
If you're doing anything where you're talking to yourself, it's like, who knows? Who knows what the fuck I'm recording right now?
No idea what's going on.
Yeah. So where are we at? Oh yeah. So you already finished your infantry stuff. You were in Virginia, freezing your nuts off.
Yeah. So the infantry, it was like November to February was infantry, and they do. If you're going straight infantry, you're basically an 03XX.
So that's an enlistment option that you could pick?
Yeah.
Or is you okay.
Yeah. So when you do it, you can sign like specific, like mortarmen, assaultmen, just riflemen, all that stuff if they have the slots, I guess. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, everybody gets 03XX. And then you do your first half of infantry school, which is like basic infantry course.
Yeah.
And then the second half is your designated, like if you're mortarman, assaultman, whatever, you go to those specific areas.
Within the same, you're at the same place.
You're still the same place, still the same company and everything, but then there's specific instructors within your company that are teaching you all that. And so we had our machine gunners, assaultmen, mortarmen, all that good stuff. And I think that was the last class for that company that taught assaultmen, because they basically got stopped after that.
Really?
Yeah, assaultmen, I don't think it exists anymore in the Marine Corps. Those are our small missilemen and all that stuff. Yeah. So, but your second half does that, and if your basic riflemen basically just go to the field.
Yeah.
You're out in the field.
Infantry crap. Yeah.
You're doing all that stuff, and you're just out there the whole time.
So while you were doing that, were you thinking about this presidential security stuff at that point?
I had totally forgot about it, honestly, because boot camp, they do your little interview thing, and basically you sign like, yeah, I want to do this, and from that point, it's like it's basically a screening the whole time. So like, they monitor your PT, your PFT, your scores and everything, and how you're doing in boot camp. You have to do your psychological stuff. They start your clearance paperwork and, that whole process. And when I was in infantry school, I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
Up until I had to do an interview with the special agent over whatever clearance I was.
Whatever. Probably just secret clearance to get in.
Yeah, I think that one was the secret. And then, so that happened, and then I remembered it, and I was like, well, then I started talking to a couple of the instructors, like, what happens now? And they're like, we don't know about presidential. They were like, but we know regular security forces does all this. And then, once you graduate, they're going to have people down here that scoop your asses up.
Yeah. As long as you're a different cut.
Yeah. So once we graduated, we had the units from Camp Lejeune came down. There was first sergeants and gunnies and, all this platoon sergeants and stuff, just snatching people up, throwing them on buses and, taking them back to Lejeune. We were all there was like 6 or 7 of us that were going security forces.
Yeah.
And we're all just sitting there like, all right, what's going to happen with us? Everybody else is like just disappearing.
Yeah.
And then there was like 3 dudes that just rolled in, and they're like, yo, what's up? Bus is out here. Y'all are security forces, right? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, all right, let's go.
Just chill like that?
We're like, okay. Like never seen these dudes before.
Yeah.
But whatever. So we jumped on the bus, and it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive. Then we get there, they put us in this squad bay with like, this is the first time we meet East Coast and West Coast, like comes together.
Yeah.
Because it's the Marine Corps. We're all Marines, but there's a huge rivalry between East Coast, Parris Island Marines, and West Coast.
There's only
San
2
Diego
places.
Marines.
That's the only 2 places you go.
Parris Island first, so that's the only one that matters.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
that's like infantry in the Army. There was only, I don't know how it is now, but the only place you went for that was Fort Benning, Georgia.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah,
nowhere else.
Man.
That was cool though, because it was kind of like here. It's like when you're out, in the shit, it's like here. Yeah, you got the same vegetation, same freaking animals and critters.
Yeah, North Carolina was almost the same too.
Really?
Except for it just got way colder.
Yeah,
like it wasn't as swampy, but there was spots throughout the woods and stuff that was just like terrible.
Yeah,
it was just like, I'm not going through that. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of clay up there, a lot more clay than here, but
yeah,
So after you get on the bus and you meet your West Side rivalries up there.
Yeah, so, we get there, we start unloading all our stuff. We get our little gear issue and everything they give to us, and they form some platoons. I think there was like three platoons, which weren't even full platoons. It was a small class.
Yeah.
There was like 2 dudes that were actually on their second enlistment that were going to that school, which was crazy. Like, we're over here like, wait, what do you mean, like, second enlistment?
Yeah.
What's happening? Like, did you go through boot camp again? Asking stupid questions and stuff like that. And we started doing all our security forces school. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty cool. You know, they went over a whole bunch of like embassy stuff, response stuff, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. We did some CQB stuff because that's the same place that the Marine Corps sends their CQB school, you know, students to, which is crazy, you know, because if they have a class running at the same time that you're running, you know, security forces school, you'll hear flashbangs and stuff go off in their, you know, in their house.
That's always the best training though. I used to love that, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty crazy. I've heard some horror stories about that school though too.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys had live shoot houses and stuff in there too?
Yeah, so that was only for CQB though.
Yeah.
We never got to do live fire shoot houses in that school.
Yeah.
We did blank fire and sim rounds, tons of sim rounds. And it was pretty cool. I wouldn't say it was like, it was definitely a second, you know, enlistment school.
Yeah.
More so than like a junior Marine school. But it was pretty legit. They taught you a ton of stuff and we got to do a lot. It was so hands-on compared to like all the classroom time you spend and you know,
classroom time else. Sucks.
It's terrible.
Sucks.
It's terrible.
It's like no matter what you do and you're already like I don't know how you were, but you're already like tired all the fucking time anyways because you feel like you're just being drugged everywhere. So anytime you're sitting still for a long time, you start to fall asleep.
Yeah. It's so bad.
Just no matter what they're telling you. Yeah. Drink water and have to pee. So you're sitting there having to piss all day.
Yeah. That's it. But once we got done there, the dudes that were going to fast went, you know, they were basically in Norfolk, so it's like an hour or two away.
Yeah.
So they're there already pretty much. And then everybody else, PRP guys are going, you know, PRP places. The presidential guys are going to DC. So we go to Marine Barracks, Washington, and we do another school when we get there that they call Guard Academy. And
that's probably when you're in your dress uniform and all that stuff? Or?
I hated that place, man. That was like, I was there for a year and a day, and it was like
a year and a day?
A year and a day, and that was the worst year and a day of my life. I hated that place.
That was like schooling a year and a day, or just
no? That was total schooling and post standing. Yeah. So this was like the straight up precursor to presidential. So at this point, they're screening you on post. You're doing your final psychological stuff, and you're basically waiting for your top secret SCI to come through with your Yankee White, you know, selection. Yeah. And a lot of guys actually dropped out at this point because of legal reasons. They'd get in trouble doing something. Like, I think we had like a drop of like 6 dudes because of like drugs and alcohol or something like that. And then there's, you know, a couple other guys that just their clearances aren't going through. Yeah. So they don't go anywhere. And then they end up shipping them back out to the fleet, you know. So then now they go from presidential candidate to just infantry again.
Back to infantry.
Yeah. Yeah. And once you finally get through, though, they set up a date for you to leave from D.C. The whole time you're in D.C., there's on 8th and I, it's basically like 4 houses, and it's all general quarters. And then there's the commandant's house. And you're basically guarding all of that, and then the barracks on top of that. And, I mean, it's cool. Yeah. When you think about it, it's really cool. Like, I got to see the commandant, like, almost every day we stood post during the day. And, you know, the only thing that sucked is that we had to look pretty the whole time. You know? It was
bit of
poster boy city. And it was terrible. Like,
I couldn't imagine.
Dude, dress uniforms had to be perfect. Even if you were in camis, you know, they had to be perfect. And, dude, it sucked.
Yeah, I'd hate that.
That part was miserable. But
literally like a security guard.
Yeah, no, basically.
Fancy ass security guard.
And the cool thing was that you were on the streets of DC, right? So
yeah,
like,
that is kind of cool.
Like the thing about the Marine Corps is like we don't wear our camis out in public. You're not supposed to. And you know, like Army, Air Force, Navy, they do. Yeah. They can. The Marine Corps, you do that, and somebody, you know, active duty sees it. That's in the Marine Corps, you're getting your shit pushed in.
Really?
Yeah.
So like when you're not when you close a business, you're supposed to go home and change, not
Yeah.
go out and
Yeah.
go grocery shopping and go do this
Yeah.
or that.
Only if you're on base.
Yeah,
Yeah. For the most part, they just want you to like change and then leave.
yeah.
You know, but
Well,
Like-
probably. I mean, yeah. When you're in uniform, like everybody associates you with that branch of service. So no matter
Yeah.
what you do, good or bad, it's gonna
Yeah.
reflect on them. So
always.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So this is like the only place besides like an embassy that you can be out basically in the streets in
Yeah.
camis, you know, in our battle dress.
Yeah,
And I can't tell you how many times people just on the streets of DC would come up to you and be like, "Oh my God, it's an army man." And you're just sitting here like, bro, like, can you read?
yeah.
Or you know, if you're in your dress uniforms, like, have you ever seen somebody in the army? Like,
Yeah, well, when they say army, they just mean military
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
don't know what the hell they're talking about.
all right.
That's
I
so
remember
funny.
We stay in post with the M1014, you know, the Benelli M4 or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and you can sit there as long as there's no round in the chamber and you don't, you know, hit the shell elevator.
Yeah,
You can sit there and rack it all day, as long as you don't hit the shell elevator or pull the trigger. It's not going to
Yeah.
chamber around,
yeah.
and it was a great deterrent
Oh, I
for
bet.
anything. And I remember I was in a mood one day, and this kid like was walking by, you know, he's with his mom. He's like, "Look, Mom, look at that soldier over there." And I had the M1014, and I looked at him, and I was just like in a stare down, and I just pulled it back real slow and dropped it, and he was just like, and then just kept walking. And I was like, you know,
Oh,
at the
that's funny.
time, I felt great about it, and then afterwards, I was like,
That's an
"Man."
asshole move,
Yeah,
bro.
I was like, that's such a
In
dick
fact,
move.
His parents, if his mom wanted to turn you
Yeah.
in, you might have got your shit pushed
Yeah.
in a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, man, thinking about it, like the year that you stand there, so it's like it's 12-hour posts, but it's more like 14
Yeah,
because you're down there an hour and a half early to upload.
is it like standing the whole time wherever you're at?
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
lean, you can't sit.
Yeah.
The only sitting posts are the camera posts, and you know at that point you're just staring at screens all day.
Yeah.
But it was miserable, and it was like 6 to 6, and at one point we went 12 to 12, which was great if you were midnight, or if you were
Morning to
noon to
noon.
midnight.
Or yeah.
Yeah, that was great. It was awesome
Because it's not like a normal day almost. You can
Yeah.
still go to bed a little early. and,
yeah, you can do whatever you want to do, but man, that sucked.
Working from 12 in the afternoon to midnight probably.
Yeah.
Really. Is that the one you didn't like or the one you
No,
did
that's
like?
the one I did like.
Oh, because you could
12
sleep
yeah.
in. Yeah,
I
okay.
could sleep in. I'd wake up, you know, go work out, whatever. And
Yeah.
I'd still have time to do whatever I wanted to do, and then go to post.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then by the time you get done at the end of the night, you know, you deload all your stuff, and you're walking back to the barracks. You're just like, man, fuck this. Like, it seemed like it was good for like a month,
Yeah.
and then after that, that's how I felt the entire time.
I bet you pretty much felt like, dude, I've done security, like straight up regular, like
Yeah.
security in Destin.
Yeah.
And I bet you felt kind of like that because it's like, what do you, this is
It
you.
sucked,
This is
dude.
it. This is what you're
it
doing.
sucked.
Yeah.
When I finally got told, like, hey, you're moving to Camp David, you know, I was
Yeah.
like, you're not kidding, right? This isn't a joke. You're
Yeah.
you're not trying to psychologically do anything right now.
So what is that about? Like, does that mean no more security,
No, so you're still
regular
doing
security
you're,
stuff?
You're still doing security. So when you get done with DC and you get your TS Yankee White whatever, you either go to White House Communications, Camp David, or you do White House Marine, I think is the name of it, or something like that. They're the guys that basically stand in front of the White House
Yeah.
and open the doors and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So
That'd probably be cool for a month or two.
yeah,
as
when
well.
when I was in, I knew every single one of those dudes.
Yeah.
And dude, it was pretty crazy. Like, you remember the Umbrella Marine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they get to meet a lot of cool people, but they don't
Oh,
really
yeah.
get to, I mean, you just, you can't
Yeah.
really engage with anyone. You really
No.
just,
They get
There.
they get some good stuff though, because
I
they
bet.
if I remember right, they basically, if they're out and about,
Mhm.
they're in suits the
Yeah.
whole time. You
Like
know?
regular civilian suits, like
Yeah.
suits.
Yeah. I know one of the guys, we'd see him come and go all the time. He would always have his stuff. He basically would do his White House Marine thing, door opening, all that good stuff, and then he would take his dress blues immediately to be dry cleaned.
Dude, I bet
every time.
I bet transitioning from that to like the civilian world, you could probably get picked up on any like any type of security or law enforcement you wanted.
Oh, for sure.
Like all the way up to government.
It's a huge boost.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do anything security wise after the Marine Corps. And that's the only thing people talk about when they see my resume.
Yeah.
Is presidential security. And then that's it, you know. And they're like, "Oh, what president?" And I'm like, "Obama." And then they talk about that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man. But yeah, so they got the 3 places. Majority of us go to camp.
Yeah.
Because that's where the most people are needed. And once you're up there, you do security stuff for
like regular security stuff, like not like in dresses,
actual real world security.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a lot of stuff I can't really talk about.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's security in a real sense of like, you know, like this house, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that this place, nobody gets in and or out that we don't want to.
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
And
yeah, you guys probably do much more than like when I was talking about security forces earlier. Around here, obviously, we have a lot of Air Force guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like some of those kind of represent it in a weird light. They boost it up for more than it is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the Marine security forces, like y'all, probably did a lot more. I don't know, like normal military shit.
Yeah. I tell you, I seen security forces as far as Marine Corps and Air Force.
Yeah.
And to me, as far as the Air Force goes, the Air Force security forces would just be the Marine Corps' like MPs.
Yeah. So they'd be making sure people didn't get in and out of buildings, gates, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the Air Force does have a lot of top secret, like, shit that
for sure. For sure.
They have to guard, but
they immediately tried to recruit me.
Yeah, the Air Force did?
Yeah. Once for 2 things. Once I got out, I got 2 different postcards from 2 different recruiters. One was for my security forces.
Yeah.
And then the other one was for my infantry skills.
So that was probably, was it Air Force and Army or?
No, that was both Air Force.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess they were looking for, I guess they need special operators, and they're hurting.
Yeah.
I guess nobody wants to do it.
My brother tried. He's in Air Force. He's a drill instructor right now in Texas. But he tried to go out for their pararescue.
Yeah.
And found out, you know, when they do the color vision test, found out that he was slightly colorblind.
Yep.
Nothing major, but just slightly enough to where it was a no-go.
Yeah.
Which was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucks. Okay.
He's doing what he's doing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so I went off and did the Camp David thing. Yeah. I got some cool pictures for that. You know, I get to do some cool stuff up there. I actually got to meet the Dos Equis guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. So, did you get a picture with him?
I did, but it's
it wasn't a pose.
It's not one that can be shared.
So, yeah. Is in uniform.
Yeah, all that good stuff. No go. But it's up at Camp David somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
In a room somewhere posted. But,
so did you only do one enlistment?
Yeah. So security forces was a 5-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 active, 3 inactive.
Oh wow.
And then once I did the presidential sign that contract, that was like full on 5 active, you know, 3 inactive. Like that's that.
Yeah.
And it was straight up like 3 years before I was done with presidential. So once you get to Camp David or Waka or the White House, you have to do a full year with 0 incidents of, you know, any kind of problems.
Reprimands, no reprimands at all.
And then you're awarded the Presidential Service Badge. And then after that, it's basically on them on when they send you off on your way.
Yeah.
And camp was cool because we have a certain number of Marines up there, and we have to maintain a certain number. So it's kind of a slow turnover rate.
Yeah, people are there.
Yeah, I was supposed to, from everything I understood, I was going to go from Camp David. So I went to advanced infantry class.
Like again?
No, this would be like squad leaders.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
They had changed it. It was infantry squad leaders course, or ISLIC is what we call
Yeah.
it, and then they changed it to AIC, Advanced Infantryman Course.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we went down there. It was 3 of us, and it was 1 from each platoon, and we were basically going to go there, do this, and then we were going to come back, and we were going to be basically platoon infantry instructors.
Damn.
Because we're security forces,
Yeah.
you know, on Camp David, but we're still infantrymen, and we need to, you know, maintain that, especially for the dudes that are going to come do their year and then go straight to the fleet. You know,
Yeah.
they don't want to get to the fleet and not know a thing about the infantry.
Yeah.
So we were down there doing that, and I think we were 3 or 4 weeks in, and the whole government shutdown thing happened.
Yeah.
So they booted us back because it's the same place. So you have Camp Lejeune, which is on one side of New River,
Yeah.
and then Camp Geiger's on the other. Camp Geiger's where you go for any of the infantry schools or anything like that, and it's literally right there. So they kind of have like joint funding. So anybody from Camp Lejeune that was there doesn't have to worry about, you know, like paying for the slots or whatever. They basically already have the money.
Was it a pretty big school? Like was there a shit ton of people in it, or
I
was
think
it
we
just
had like
a-
60.
Was it like a okay?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, as many units as there are out there, they're constantly rolling through there.
Yeah.
But we also had a big drop rate too. It was like a 30% attrition rate.
Well, I bet.
Yeah, dude, it was a awesome course. I mean, I think I learned more in that course than I did throughout the entirety of my experience before that.
Well, the thing with the infantry though is security is a big component of that, like a huge component,
Yeah.
because there's not like you think infantry, you think all right, everybody's kicking indoors, but it ain't the way it
No.
normally is. A lot of times,
You're digging
literally,
holes.
that's what you're doing is security stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it
especially
was-
now, you're probably doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool though, and you know we made it. However far, we actually had all of our shit stolen. All of our issued gear and everything got stolen.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so when you go to Camp Geiger, if you're
Like plates and all, or like,
yeah, actually only me. The other 2 guys had theirs with them because they dropped out of the land nav the first go round. So this was their makeup day because you basically had 2 chances at everything.
yeah,
As far as, you know, practical application, and they went back to do that. I didn't need to because I had passed it first go around, so all my stuff was in the rooms. When you go to Camp Geiger from
they
somewhere
weren't locked?
else, no, they were.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, you're good.
they call them the crack houses because they're
The
straight
rooms
up,
where your shit is
Yeah.
sitting while you're not
they
there.
call them the crack houses. They're like from the
Old ass
50s.
barracks is
Yeah, they're straight up from the 50s.
like with house keys, or
Yes,
y'all have
yeah,
oh
yeah.
wow, so you can go in there with a credit card
huge,
and like
huge gaps like this, like between the doors. Like, it
oh
was terrible.
man,
And we didn't know that beforehand. We were under the impression, you know, we were basically going to be staying in the Camp Geiger kind of like permanent personnel kind of barracks room,
yeah,
but that wasn't the case. They put us up in the crack houses, and we all went out, you know, to our respective classes that day and came back, and all of our shit was gone. We had to do a whole
Dang.
police report, all that good stuff, and they issued us some training stuff to finish out the course. And then, you know, we turned all that stuff back in, and we went back to Camp David and had to do the whole police report thing. They got it off our record. And
should you new stuff?
yeah, some of the stuff we still had, you know, like I had some warming layers and stuff like that, and they
Yeah.
had a couple of things, but for the most part, everything was stolen.
So they just grab big bags of shit and just
Oh
took
yeah.
them.
And then, you know, when we talk to the instructors about it, they're like, yeah, that happens all the time.
Well, you would think
Like-
there would be some sort of initiative to re-outfit that place,
Yeah.
at least make it more secure.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's,
I wonder if anybody got caught.
I think they said that one dude did
That's not good.
prior. Yeah,
'Cause that's
he's-
stolen. That's stealing government property.
Yeah, he's done for, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And at that time, they were downsizing too, so
Oh,
he's
yeah.
for sure gone, you know.
You think it was obviously it was guys in the Marines or military.
Their thing was that they were under the impression that it was combat instructors. So everybody
Ah.
teaching, you know, the junior Marines coming through,
Yeah.
which probably is the case because, I mean, there's a ton of those dudes, you know, and they're all around. So,
Yeah.
But so that happened. You know, government shut down. We had to go back to Camp David because they wouldn't have the funding for us anymore.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been doing anything.
So that sucked. But so we got back to Camp David, and then since that didn't get to happen, now we're all getting orders
To deploy? To your
Yeah,
regular duty station orders.
So once that happened, I went to 2-9 on Camp Lejeune.
Okay.
Hell in a helmet.
Hell in helmet?
Hell in a helmet.
Hell in a helmet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess
Sounds interesting.
2-9's cool. They get stood up only in times of war.
Yeah.
And at that time, we were still, in a time of war. So I got there. Dudes were actually just getting back from a deployment. It was a small deployment for them. I guess they were just kind of filling in.
Well, around that time, that's when the deployments were getting pretty small.
Yeah.
Anyways, they were getting short, like
Yeah.
6-month max deployments. A lot of guys.
When I had got there, they didn't know where we were going at that point. We heard, the rumor mill, everything. Everybody's saying, "You're going to Afghanistan." They're like, no, we're gonna be sending you guys
Africa.
to Iraq. We heard Djibouti. We're going on immune. And turns out we ended up going to Okinawa. So, it was cool though.
I bet it was chill. It was probably like a vacation.
Oh yeah, man.
Because what are you really doing in Okinawa?
Hanging out?
Yeah, that's it.
we got to do some cool stuff. In Okinawa, I guess you're just the reactionary force for the Pacific.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We still did our infantry training and, stuff like that. We actually did a lot of our annual quals out there.
Did you ever do like a big, I guess, kind of gunnery type thing out there, where it's like a big, huge like brigade training?
We did. Actually, before I even get into that, so when I got to the fleet and they're still trying to figure out where we're all going, we went to do our workup. And we did the full Mojave Viper, with all that stuff. By the end of it, you're running down a range. There's tanks, there's Apaches. Coolest thing.
That's like badass shit.
The coolest thing you could ever do, besides it actually, being real and everything.
Yeah.
Easily the coolest thing ever. I got to leave early with like 4 or 5 other dudes from our company to go back to AIC. So I went back, started a whole new class. Some of the instructors were still there, remembered who I was. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then finished all that up. I failed one test one time.
Like a handwritten test or like a
handwritten. It was our offense and defense. And it was like you have to get a 90 or better to pass, basically. And I got like an 88.
Yeah.
And dude, it was like 180 questions. It took us like 2 hours to get through the test. It sucks, man.
Yeah, that's a legit test.
Yeah, no, it was for real. And I failed that one test. Had I not failed that test, I would have got honor grad.
Oh man.
Yeah, because like going back the second time, dude, I was super motivated.
Yeah, well,
it was the coolest thing.
You already had a leg up on all the shit.
I knew what was going on all the way up till I had basically got dropped.
Yeah,
and it was so cool. I made a lot of good friends out there, and
there goes my timer.
Oh, quarter's off.
Yeah, well, it's not off yet, but there it goes. Back on. Back on.
Nice.
I might have missed like a few seconds of that, but it's okay because I still have the audio. I'll just put a pretty picture in there. Close the gap.
Yeah, basically went super motivated. I was having a great time. That was that's by far my favorite memory. Is that entirety of that class, and it sucked. We did this thing called Man Shit Fridays.
Man Shit Fridays.
Yeah, because you're doing such ridiculous shit that you basically are gonna shit yourself. And I got some pictures of that on Instagram of it's our woodland camis.
Yeah.
And you can't tell them because they're just so caked in mud. They just look like a straight shit stain.
Maybe I'll go snag some of those and pop them in the video here.
Yeah, I got some good ones from there and from Okinawa.
Okay, yeah.
And there's one you'll see. We were going to a range. A Humvee was dragging a trailer out.
Yeah.
And the entire wheel came off the trailer. There's that one in there too. That's a good one.
Yeah, that don't sound good.
Oh, it wasn't. It wasn't. They drug that trailer like a good 400 yards with no tire. Yeah. And
Man shit Fridays.
yeah, man shit Fridays.
Dude, those smoke sessions, those are like some of the, when I look back on those kind of things now, I'm like, man, dude, what a fucking badass time.
Yeah.
You're just young, you're just getting the shit, your shit kicked out of you, and you're just, I mean, eating it up. I wasn't one of those guys that like was getting pissed off whenever I had to do shit like that.
Man, I got
ate up.
I got pissed off at a dude. We had a guy in our platoon
Mm-hmm.
during all of that was just, honestly, he should have got dropped.
Yeah.
As cruel as it is to say it, and I hope the dude's doing well.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he is a great guy, but for the course, I guess he was going through some stuff. I never talked to him about it, but he sucked, to say the least. Like any of the hikes that we had to do, we were packing his pack out for us.
And that sucks because that probably started from before he even enlisted. So that came from the level of recruiting all the way up, because I had guys that just in basic training and infantry basic training that, dude, there were guys in there with the option 40, which is the Ranger contract, right?
Yeah.
And dude,
trash.
I mean, dudes come in, I think he's E4 or something, and freaking Poindexter looking motherfucker, right? Like desk paper pusher, which some of those guys can be savages, but not this one. This one wasn't. Like he couldn't do PT for nothing. And
yeah, man.
They only gave him that contract because he had schooling, and the recruiter was probably like, okay, yeah, this is a notch under my belt. I need to push this guy out there. However, that guy was holding a position that someone could have used. Like someone could have been in his shoes that was actually going to do something with that. And I think he failed out of airborne school because he couldn't fucking run. Wasted slot. Somebody else could have went in for that.
This kid, man, he was like that. Like, I'm pretty sure that's why he ended up getting into, because I think he was security forces too. Which, I mean, it makes sense because, security forces, for the time you're doing security forces, not a lick of that is infantry.
Yeah.
It is straight up security forces. You don't do any kind of, buddy rushing.
Yeah.
You don't do any kind of infantry tactics. Your defense is whatever security you're setting in. That's it.
Yeah, it's not real high output.
Yeah.
Shit.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
And like this kid, he just, granted, he was a smaller dude, so he had to pump a lot harder, because we're packing out like 80, 90-pound packs for,
it's no
20
fun.
miles.
Yeah.
Dude, what our worst one, it was 17 clicks straight line.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
17.
I thought I was going to die.
In like were you in formation?
No, that was that one, it was actually really cool. They turned it in. Everything they tried to do was like a squad competition kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that one, they made a squad comp. They basically were like, all right, it's midnight. See you at the house.
Have you done any like rucking, like since you've been out, like
No.
just to do it?
Not at all.
I've done it a few times. Like I got a kit,
Yeah.
plates and shit, and sometimes I'll throw them on.
So I have a vest set up and everything, plates and all that for shooting.
Yeah.
I shoot as often as I can, barring
Yeah.
ammo.
Yeah.
But I haven't done any kind of rucks or hikes or anything with that. I have an Alice pack that I, small frame Alice pack that I don't really ever use. And I've thought about it, and I always make excuses.
Dude, I did it one time. I did it one time here in town, and I went straight up, like I went all the way to Walmart from here.
Yeah.
All the way to Walmart and back. And I remember like people were honking at me, and people would text me like, dude, did I just see you out there? I'm just like by myself in a kit, just walking and jogging, walking and jogging. But sometimes it's it makes you feel, it like brings you back a little bit. It's kind of like the old man in me. It's like,
you remember how much it
like,
sucks
fuck,
too.
man. Yeah. Like when you're about a mile down the road, you're like, man, this kind of sucks. But then again, wearing a kit was it's a lot different than wearing a kit and a ruck, or just wearing or like in basic when you're just wearing a ruck. Well, actually, I guess we were wearing kits and rucks.
We had kits, but like no plates.
Yeah.
It was still, like the old, like thick Kevlar, like Vietnam style.
I think mine weighs, without my side plates, it's like 27 or 28 pounds total, which right now, I mean, that's not very heavy, but you throw that shit on right now and you go
Dude,
jogging, it's going to suck.
It's rough, man.
Yeah.
It's rough. Like I put mine on just to shoot or something, And
Yeah.
if it's summer, dude, I'm dying.
Sucking, dude.
I am dying. I'm over here chugging water like
Yeah.
the 5-gallon drum, and I'm like,
You remember,
yeah.
like, when you were in, not ever being able to get real comfortable after you've been wearing that thing for a long time?
Yeah.
So you take your Kevlar off and you, like, set it, like, did you ever try to, like, set it behind your back plate to kind
Yeah.
of prop that bitch
Yeah.
up so you can eat or something?
Oh, so one of the posts that I stood a lot of was full kit in a truck,
Oh.
and that was miserable.
Dude, I bet
Like the
2
worst
hours
back
into it,
pain.
you're probably, or not even probably 2 hours, sitting in a Humvee or just
no,
a truck
it's just a truck
in kit.
in kit. Worst back pain ever, man.
Yeah, because your
Like,
back doesn't touch the seat. You're
At
just
all.
you got that gap
Yeah.
between the your lower back that's just like chilling.
dude,
like,
it was miserable.
out of whack.
That one sucked.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh man.
Yeah, the only comfortable position in those things is standing up.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only one.
And it's sitting there like this the whole time, you know.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that kid, man, he couldn't do any of that. Always had to pack his packs out. And then on Manship Fridays,
Yeah,
like, so we had an AT4 filled with concrete, and we called it the bitch.
yeah,
And whatever squad lost either Manship Friday or whatever squad comp it is,
yeah.
whatever last place squad had to carry the bitch until the next squad comp.
Dang.
They had to carry everyone.
So it didn't matter who it was. The squad just had to.
Yeah,
hang on
squad
to
had to
it.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we did it once. We lost once, and we were like, never again. Dude, that thing sucked. 'cause
Dude, that thing full of concrete, that had to be, I don't know. That had
it's
to
like
be
40, 50 pounds.
It has to be.
easy.
Yeah.
And I remember I had it on my pack right here, walking, and I did one of those things, you know, where you like roll your ankle, but
Yeah.
you like fall to catch yourself.
Yeah.
The thing bashed me in the back of the head.
Oh, I bet you were
And-
pissed.
I had like stars, you know,
Yeah.
and I was like, what the fuck just happened? You know?
So if you don't know what an AT4 is, it's a basically a rocket launcher. It's a tube. It's about 4 foot, probably 3 or 4 foot
yeah.
long, and about big enough to put a freaking grapefruit down it. Pack that
80
thing full of concrete.
84 millimeter projectile.
Yeah, yeah, full of
Terrible.
concrete.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I hated that thing, dude. We did it. Yeah, we did it once, and that was it. And then, but every time after that, we had to pack this kid's kid
so it was like
out,
you're getting
you know?
fucked all the
Yeah.
time.
He always had an empty pack and was always dying, and it sucked. I really got used to BC powder during that course, man.
I still ain't never been into no BC powder. I don't think I've ever tried it.
It's great because it's just, you know, it's aspirin with
Yeah, caffeine, right?
Yeah, yeah. And dude, it's terrible. It tastes terrible, but it
Get you through some shitty times.
and
huh?
like halfway through a hike, you're dying. You get some BC powder in you, you feel like a new man.
Dude, I used to like hitting my medic up and be like, bro, stick my ass,
Yeah.
dude. Give me that,
I
give me
need
that
some
IV.
of that liquid.
Dude, we used to have my medic because in the infantry, everybody's going to be in the same like barracks that are in barracks.
Yeah.
You go out drinking one night, you get kind of too fucked up. You call
Yeah.
your medic the next day, but dude, bring a pack down to my room.
I need something.
Yeah,
That's how we are. Our corpsmen are with us
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
And I roomed with one. He was an Asian dude, Korean, and
so was mine.
cool story with him.
I think mine was Filipino.
He came over to the States when he was like 12, I think,
Yeah.
if I remember right. And since he came over to the States, he had not seen his mom. His mom was in Korea.
Oh wow.
And when we went to Okinawa, we sent some dudes to the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
We went to mainland Japan, and then we went to South Korea. And we were up on the border and some other stuff, doing
Yeah.
some training with the Rock Marines.
How was the border?
So the Rock Marines say they catch contact all the time. At this point in time, so this was like 2014
Yeah.
into 2015, they were saying they would catch contact all the time with North Koreans.
Get y'all juiced up.
Yeah.
It gets y'all juiced up.
We never got to really see any of that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some of those dudes, I guess, as far as the media portrays it over here, it's not the same as what's actually going on over there at that time.
Mm.
But I guess now that's different. I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea.
That's a weird situation. But since we were over in South Korea, they actually hooked this dude up.
Yeah.
And he got to go see his mom for like
That's
a
cool.
week. Yeah.
That's
it
badass.
was pretty cool. Then we got stuck out there.
That's not badass.
No, that sucked. So since this was at that time, I guess Obama had declared that he was pulling all the troops out.
Worst fucking. I feel like when he made that public, that was so shitty. Because
I think so, in my own personal beliefs.
Yeah.
But I also I feel like it wouldn't have mattered how long we stayed.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think it'll always regress back to how it was. Yeah,
it will. That's just the way that place is.
Yeah, it's
but when you
lawless,
announce that shit, then it's like powers them up.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's get in the locker room and plan this shit out.
So, but once he said that, 2-9 was gonna disband.
Yeah.
It's not a time of war anymore, and that's the only time 2-9 gets stood up.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and so that was our official last deployment.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically blew out the budget on everything we were doing. They were the last range we did with the Rock Marines.
Yeah. There
was thousands upon thousands of rounds. There was like 30 or 40 rockets, all going off. They had, dude, it was nuts, man. There was so much stuff. They were blowing everything.
Well, they didn't want to bring nothing back. They wanted to get rid of it.
It was definitely an ammo dump.
That's badass.
Sure. And it was crazy.
After a while, it takes the fun out of it too, because you're just like, fuck, standing there with a full combat load, just doing like ready ups, dropping 210 rounds. Like,
our assaultmen were straight up like, yo, this is pushing every bit of like the legal training limits, and like combat training, limits, all that stuff.
Those rockets, you're not supposed to fire.
I think you're not supposed to fire more than 3 in a 24-hour period.
With AT4s?
No, the smalls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 3.
Yeah.
And
you are burning through them,
dude, huh? Yeah, there was like, I think there was like 15 of those. And then there was like 20 or 30
Did you shoot any of them?
I got to shoot 2 of the AT4s.
Dude, the AT4, that's badass.
Yeah.
Did you do the training ones? Did you fuck with the training ones where you used the 9mm tracer?
Yeah. So when I was in DC, we did a range where we got to shoot the training AT4s and then a live AT4.
Yeah.
And it worked out. Everybody got 1 live AT4.
Wow.
That was cool.
We didn't even get that.
It was an old broken down tank that it had just been riddled with
perfect
AT4s.
target. Yeah.
And then when I was in AIC, we got to shoot laws.
Yeah, I haven't shot that.
The law trainers are cool because they don't shoot a 9mm. They shoot like these carbon rods. So it's like, it kind of looks like a rocket coming out.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't have like it just kind of pops out and simulates the weight, I guess, of the actual rocket.
Weight and the recoil and everything.
Yeah.
So.
And then fast forward Korea and you get to shoot some more AT4s.
Yeah.
Legit.
Dude, what was crazy about the AT4 is like when you're training with a 9mm round, you're thinking to yourself like there's no fucking way that this is how this rocket is going to act like whenever I fire it.
Yeah.
But literally it is, except for the percussion is insane. Yeah. But like it's like your tube don't really you don't feel no kick. If I remember correctly, I didn't feel no kick. I couldn't hear shit. No, my ear pro came out and I couldn't hear shit. I had a helicopter right above. I couldn't hear nothing.
The only thing I remember is the slight dip from the actual projectile coming through it,
Yeah.
And
I hit low the first time I shot. I hit low because
I think I went high.
Yeah, I was anticipating it like a little bitch.
Yeah, and it
was a disappointment, dude, because we ran such a hot lane. Like it was I don't remember what we were doing, but we rode through in Bradley's. We dropped ramp down in the woods, down in kind of like a bottom of I think it was a dried up creek bed, and you're filtering out, and we're getting to the bottom of this big giant ass fucking hill that's like almost feels like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Then we gotta push up this fucking hill.
Yeah. And
I mean you're running because it's all open. And then you get to the top of the hill, and they literally built a house on top of the hill that you had to. Some people had to clear this house, then some people had to grab an AT4 and shoot at another one.
Yeah.
You got a helicopter coming in. Cool training, but when you do it 3 or 4 times, you're like, fuck,
sucks.
dude.
Yeah.
Like everything, I feel like I heard this before I joined the military, and it rings true today. Like the Army and the Marines can fuck up a wet dream. So all that shit you see and you think like, oh, that's fucking badass. Like they're running helicopters. But they don't show you like the 20 times you have to load into the helicopter that's not moving, and practice that shit over and over again.
Dude, we used to, when I got to 2.9, we were track company at first for Amtrak's and all that. And then I guess throughout the course of all the training, they decided that golf company, our company, was going to be helo company now. Okay. So now we're doing helo ops and everything and training for that. I remember like 3 days straight, before we went to the field, we were just out in the quad, just basically loading into a fake helicopter, doing fake onload and offloads. And, oh my God, that sucked.
Like, it sounds so cool, and until you think about that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. But then again, there are some absolute retards out there that if you don't like drill that shit into them, they're gonna fuck it up.
I mean,
they still do fuck.
It was still badass.
Yeah,
for
There's nothing like flying around in a helicopter, no matter what it is.
It doesn't matter.
No matter what it is. I remember the first. So before you flew in a helicopter, had you flown in a plane? You probably did.
So I did. Before. I had done planes. I had never done any helicopter or anything like that. But at that point, I think it was like 3 or 4 times I've flown in a plane.
Yeah. When I got in the helicopter for the first time, I remember before then, I was not super scared of heights, but I was a little bit of a bitch when it came to like going to theme parks and doing shit like that was like getting in a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Or like, the fair has that damn thing that goes like, it's like the scissor or some shit.
Yeah.
I used to be scared as fuck. I would never go in that. And then I hop on this helicopter. My first time getting on, I was on the door. Had a door seat, and it's just a Black Hawk. And I remember hearing that thing spooling up. Like, you get a little bit of that little hop at the very beginning, like a little And I remember thinking, oh, shit, here we go. And I'm, like, watching the ground. And pretty much as you get up over, like, 10, 15 feet, then those kind of, like, the butterflies kind of go away. And you're like, fuck yeah, here we go, dude. This is badass.
Yeah. Man, I got to say, I totally had a blessed enlistment,
Sounds like it.
Because I got to do the cool presidential stuff, and then I got out, and I got to the fleet, and we were helo company.
Yeah.
I got to fly on 3 different types of helicopters. I flew on the Ospreys, too.
Oh, how was that?
Dude, it was actually fucking awesome.
Is it?
I really liked it. I've heard a lot of horror stories about, those things just drop out of the air. Our pilot at the time, because this was when I was in AIC.
Yeah.
Our pilot told us, he was like, yeah, we're coming in from up high. I'm going to drop it and then basically set you down. Yeah. Like that fast. And we're like, okay, cool. Like whatever, regular helicopter. Well, apparently the Osprey is fucking awesome for that.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you can actually talk to one another in the Osprey because, your motors are out on the sides of the wings and everything.
Yeah.
And then, dude, he was flying. We got full tilt. And that thing moves, man.
I bet. Yeah.
And when he dropped it down, he did. He was like, all right, come down. And he was like, shoo, boop. And we were like, whoa.
What a badass.
That did not just happen.
Like, development that thing
is. Yeah, dude. Well, it's like a feat. I guess that thing, like, literally at certain points of the tilt, it shouldn't be in the air.
Yeah.
Like,
I bet.
Something crazy, like scientific, way smarter than anything I could ever think of.
Yeah.
And then I also got to fly in a 46, the dual prop.
Okay, yeah.
Those things are awesome too, man.
I bet they're loud as shit.
Oh, they are extremely loud, but it's cool because you can hear them coming from like so far away. Like they told us, like that's the one that if whoever hears it is gonna be like, oh shit, somebody's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And those things, they can whip those things around with the dual props. They can kick those things like 360. Like nothing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
All I ever rode in was just Black Hawks. That was it.
Those things are badass too, though, man.
Yeah. I mean, when you ride a door, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Do you ever have to do any of the egress training?
Not really. All we used them for was just, pretty much just training where we were going, fighting within our own company, platoon on platoon. Yeah. And shit like that, we just use them to basically transport to get here and there.
Yeah. When we got to Okinawa, they had us do.
We did medevac type shit too.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
like that was humanitarian. Or
well,
like
no,
combat?
like just training, just
okay.
Yeah, just training. Bringing litters up to running litters out there and shit.
Yeah, we did. We didn't do any of that. We did simulated casualties, you know, no, non-litter, still
Still, it wasn't
applicable or something like that. I can't remember. But we did, when we got to Okinawa, we did the underwater egress training for the heroes. That was awesome.
It looks, I've seen videos of it. It looks badass, but it also looks like it probably gives you a little bit. You had to freak out at least a tad.
Dude, the first one, I failed the first go because we did the scuba tanks. They're like a little bigger than this, you know.
Yeah.
And it's I think they said like 2 minutes worth of air when it's fully loaded. And when it dunks you under and you're underwater and everything and you get the mouthpiece in, you have to get your head back to actually get the air. Oh. And I thought I was back, but I wasn't. And I wasn't getting no air, and I started freaking out, dude. And everybody basically had their own kind of window to go through. Yeah. And I was on that run, I was going out the 50 door. So the first guy, he had already got out and was gone. I didn't have no air, and I went straight out behind him, and I was kicking and screaming the whole way. Oh, and they were like, "You all right, dude?" Because I got out of the water, you know, I'm over here like, you know, dying. And they're like, "You all right?" And I was like, I was not getting any air. Yeah. You know, and they double checked, you know, made sure it was on. It was, and they were like, "How far back was your head?" And I was like, "I thought I had it pretty far back." And they were like, "All right, well," they took me back under, and the scuba guy basically flipped me over, and he basically positioned my head and was like, "That's where you need to be."
So it won't let any air?
Yeah, like, I guess if you're like this with the forced air or something like that, it closes off like your means of getting the air in. Yeah. So when you're open, it opens your trachea or something like that. Yeah. It gets more air. So basically what they said is like I would have been fine, but it's that inherent like freak out, you know? Yeah. And but after that I was good. Yeah. You know, and we did all sorts of we did it like, you know, you do one run, no air at all. Yeah. And the first run we did was with the air. They tell you to make sure you get all your air out beforehand so you can actually get the air from the tube. Yeah. And the second one or third one we did, then we did like a blackout goggle. And it's like just like the Oakley goggles with like tape over it.
Can't see shit. You just got to kind of feel your way out of there. Yeah. How was that?
That was cool.
Was it cool?
That was cool, yeah. Because like the whole time you're just shedding your kit.
Yeah, and you've already done it 3 times at this point, so you already kind of know where you're going and what you're doing.
And it was legit. I never got to do the Humvee, but they had it there. Yeah. And it looked like it sucked. I bet. And then crazy, since, you know, I travel for work now. Yeah. There's an island out in the North Atlantic. It's called St. Kilda. And we do some work out there. And the only way you can get there is by barge or by helicopter. If you do the helicopter, you have to be certified. OPIDO is the certification or something like that. And basically survival suit, same thing.
But civilian.
Yeah. They give you a little rebreather or you know, canister. And I got to go to that training on the civilian side.
How did it compare? Kind of close to the same shit? Or?
I feel like the civilian stuff was more in-depth with as far as, you know, like what would actually happen, you know, in the sense. But it was also, you know, warm weather versus, you know, cold water.
Well, also, when you're dealing with civilians, you're dealing with a potential lawsuit of all the time. So in the military, it ain't really the same.
Yeah. It was definitely, it was harder in the military, you know, because you have the life-size helo windows and you have gear, you know, and they're trying to make it as realistic as possible. Yeah. On the civilian side, it was just straight up like, it looked like a beer can that they just, you know, stuffed some holes in that were huge. They're like this big. Like, you can't miss that. Yeah. You know? So when they dump it and flip it, you know, it's like you basically just fall out, you know. Yeah. It was cool, though.
So what was the first thing you did after you got out? As far as, like, profession-wise? Did you take a break before you started working? Or
I did the dirty college kid thing. First. Okay. So I made a lot of dumb financial decisions, and
as we all do.
I was that guy, you know.
Yeah.
That they tell you not to be
Fucking
like.
Star card.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was like, man, credit cards are cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Shoot, I'm still paying on them. I'm still
Dude,
paying
me
on credit
too,
cards
man.
right now.
It sucks.
It sucks. It'll get
But-
you out of a bind sometimes
Yeah.
when you're in a financial bind, but at the end of it all, it's like, man,
Is it worth it?
if
you
you
know?
feel stupid, you're like, dude, all this money,
Yeah.
I buy all this cool shit, but now I'm in debt
Yeah.
and I'm paying 20% more for it.
Yeah. It's one of those. If I could go back.
Yeah,
things,
I would have
yeah.
never started fucking with a credit card.
No, not at all. But so I got out in August. So I took terminal in July,
Mm-hmm.
and I just barely got into Northwest,
Okay.
like for that fall class or whatever. So I started doing all that, and using the GI Bill.
What'd you go to school for? Was it just your regular shit?
It's a ASS, I think, or Applied Sciences and Technology or something like that, and it's
Yeah.
mechanical engineering, design, and fabrication.
Hey man, I gotta restart.
the camera.
Yeah, restart the camera. It didn't cut off yet. You need to take a piss or anything?
No,
Wanna
I'm
take a
good.
break?
I'm good.
All right, man. Stop fucking. Tiny button. There it goes. Boom. Yeah, it's getting a little toasty. It's getting a little fucking toasty in here without the AC on.
Man, I've been working up on a tower this past couple weeks.
Yeah,
That's where I got my nice tan from. It's warm outside.
it is.
And
And this weather's not helping.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm not going to be ready for August. Like,
dude.
that's going to suck.
So when I was younger, dude, summer used to be my favorite time of the year because I used to just ride around with no fucking t-shirt on. I just flip flops and board shorts, and now it's like, I don't know, man. I'm not digging summer.
No, I feel like as I get older, it gets hotter.
Yeah, either that
Like,
or we just get more bitch made.
Yeah, it just feels hotter. Something dumb.
Yeah, spring
Yeah.
and fall is definitely my favorite time.
Yeah.
But then again, in the summertime, you're actually more. It's more. You get out more than you would.
Yeah.
And like
Definitely
in the
more
wintertime,
active.
kind of really sucks because then your options of doing anything is like, fuck no, you're not doing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Summertime, you're just like, well, we can do it, but it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, you're going to sweat your ass off. That's it.
Yeah,
No
but
big deal.
I guess I'd rather be hot than cold.
Yeah,
I think.
I determined that in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather sweat my ass off than, be walking around
Dude.
looking like a,
I was only in
Michelin
for a
Man.
short period of time, and I was in Kansas, and I told myself, like, dude, because you going out in the field or whatever, you bed down at night and you fucking wake up and there's ice all over
Yeah.
everything.
everything's frozen.
Yeah, and in the military, a lot of times, like, they're like, well, yeah, you're issued all this cold weather shit, but we're not bitches, so you're gonna fucking suck it up.
Yep.
So I told myself when I got out, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna be fucking cold. So
Yeah.
it gets like 60 degrees out here. I'm in a hoodie.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be like that now because I think I'm getting. I don't know. I guess maybe I would be. Yeah, I'm a little bitch when it comes to being cold.
Dude, no, I feel you. I'm the same way, man. I'm not playing with that. Dude, I was in Wales earlier this year.
Yeah.
And it was freezing and wet the whole
Not good.
time. I did there was only like 3 days I walked outside without at least like 3 layers on.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I wasn't playing with that.
Yeah.
That sucked, man.
Yeah, dude. There's no sense of being cold if you ain't got to.
Yeah. You get home at the end of the day, I literally would stand under the hot ass shower for like 20 minutes, just sitting there.
How's
just
Wales, though?
baking.
Yeah,
Well,
was there anything cool about it? Or
it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. But when we went, everything was still shut down.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to go do anything, which really sucked. But I mean, we're there to work anyway, so most of the time, it's for us, it's a 10-hour day minimum,
Yeah.
7 days a week. So we didn't get to go see anything or do anything. We got one night in London, and it was all closed, so we didn't get to go see anything for that either.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, let's go see Big Ben,
Yeah.
They're like, no, that's going to be 2 hours because of, traffic and everything. And we're like, okay. And like,
So
yeah, we were like, what time is it? And it's like 9 o'clock. And we're like, fuck that. We got to get up early in the morning and get on
Yeah.
that flight and go home,
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. But I mean, it was cool. Like I said, it was gorgeous out there.
So what you do now, is that translate from what you did in college, went to school for?
Yeah. So when I was in college, and I was doing the mechanical engineering. I did a lot of the drafting and design and all that stuff. And one of my requirements for that degree was machining.
Yeah.
Just one machining class. It was intro to machining. And I showed up, and there was like 6 of us in there, and Sean was the instructor. So me and him clicked pretty much immediately because he's an old, he's an old vet from the Marine Corps.
He's super easy to talk to.
He's fucking awesome.
He'll start talking shit to you as soon as he meets you. So
he doesn't talk about it a whole lot. But he was attached to Force Recon for a while.
Really?
Through Gulf Storm.
I knew an old guy that was down with that when I worked at the prison. This guy, he was real old, but he used to come out after shift, dude, and he'd probably been kind of shot out, dude, because he'd walk around his car and look underneath his car, check all his doors before he got in.
Yeah.
But he probably seen some fucking shit.
Tell you what, no, Sean, he knows how to shoot, man.
Yeah.
I would not want to get in a firefight with him,
against him?
Yeah. No, not happening. Because he's a monster, dude.
Really?
He's a great shooter.
Like long range?
Both long range and, just pistol.
Quick?
Like, I don't know how he is, mid-range with like a carbine.
Yeah.
But I know pistol-wise, he's dirty.
Dude, pistol is so much harder than I think anything else.
Yeah.
Because I thought, just because I was infantry, we did a lot. Mainly, we didn't mess around with pistols much.
Yeah.
But you just kind of assume, like, all right, dude, I'm good with this. I'm good with my M4, so pistols ain't going to be no problem. No, not the case.
Dude, I'm glad that the Marine Corps taught me how to shoot a pistol.
Yeah.
Because if I had got out as a civilian and I'm trying to learn how to shoot a pistol, I know I'm stubborn as hell, so I wouldn't hire somebody to do it or teach me.
It's hard. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, you feel like it would be, but it ain't.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
We got to think. I mean, your barrel's that long.
Yeah. But dude, he is a good shooter.
But he's been doing machining for
a hot minute.
Yeah. So he's an instructor at the college?
He was. We were his last class.
Okay.
So he stopped doing it. It just wasn't worth it for him, because like he's really passionate about machining.
Yeah.
And he dumps all of that passion that he has for it into the classes.
Yeah.
And out of all of us that had started the class, there was me and like 2 other dudes that finished it with him.
Yeah.
And, me and one other guy were really the only ones that were taking it in. And he's got some good machinists that had went through there.
Yeah.
And we were just the last batch, and then the school was kind of giving him crap, trying to basically
say he wasn't a good instructor.
Well, they wanted him to do like full-time instructor stuff, but he works on base anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like he doesn't have the time to do full-time instructor stuff for all this crap for people that are on the college 24/7 anyways.
Yeah.
When he's only going to be there like a couple hours a night. So it was, I don't blame him at all. And he's, for him, it was just trying to relay all that passion to up and coming dudes. And
it takes a special breed to like get into machining and like doing it. I've had a job, at that place over here that does bows. They do like, they manufacture like bows, like hunting bows.
Oh,
they do parts for it.
What is it over there by PJ?
No, it's like right across the street over here, behind the armory.
I don't know.
There's a place right behind the armory, and they do like they do bows and stuff, but it's full of machines. In fact, I think Andrew's doing some parts for them. But anyways, I did it for probably a week, and they had just got done another little training thing, and I told the manager, I was like, "Look, man, this ain't for me." I was like, "I appreciate the opportunity, but I mean, I think so they get 2 or 3 different machines, and it's just I mean, you're pumping parts out, and then you got to measure the parts, and it's just one of those repetitive type things, and that type of machining definitely.
Dude, production machining does suck, man.
Dude, you're like a rat on a wheel, like you're just pumping out shit. So that wasn't for me. Yeah, I told him, I was like, dude, if I was to keep working here, the whole time I'm going to be looking for another job, so I might as well just cut it now.
Yeah.
But doing machining where you're figuring shit out, that's different. Like when you're figuring out, like, all right, I need to fix this shit over here. So what do I need to do to fix that, or whatever? I don't know what it is that you do with machining, but
right now nothing. So I got I got the machining certification and all that stuff and the degree and all that. And then I picked up a machining job in Pensacola for a small machine shop out there.
Yeah.
And I was a manual machinist, which is cool with me. I like manual machining and the programming side of CNCs.
Yeah.
I don't like the actual button pushing for CNCs personally. I feel more connected to what I'm doing if I'm manually machining it. So that's my preference. And I was pumping parts out, you know, doing all sorts of stuff over there. Learned a whole lot on top of, you know, going to school and everything.
Yeah.
And then I got hooked up at BAE for machining.
Okay, yeah.
And
That's a contracting. BAE is a big contractor.
Yeah. So they do a ton of avionics and radar. So I started doing parts for them, you know, all sorts of different kind of parts, you know, aluminum, steel, fiberglass, whatever. And I was, you know, kicking ass and taking names, doing all that good stuff, you know, model employee as far as the machine shop goes. And they have guys that travel and go work on radars, and, you know, they do their modifications, tear them apart, rebuild them, whatever. They ran out of people
that were willing to travel.
Well, they ran out of people that were working on these things while they were in plant, because everybody they had was out traveling at the time. Yeah. So then I kind of took that role. And then once I started doing that, I wasn't machining no more. Yeah. And then I kind of jumped into that travel role right then and there. And then that's what I've been doing ever since. So as far as machining goes, I think I have some parts that I have to go machine in the next week. Yeah. But they're like, now it's like simple parts that are, you know, just to get us by or whatever.
Yeah. Andrew, they do all kinds of parts. They figure out all kinds of. I seen a box going out the other day. It had SpaceX written on it. I was like, damn.
Yeah, man.
Fucking cool.
Andrew was a perfect candidate for Sean to teach, because so I had knew Sean beforehand. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was always telling him, you know, hey, man, I just bought this gun, you know. Yeah. You know, always, you know, showing off whatever, bragging to him, you know, just to basically bust his balls. And he's like, where are you getting your stuff from? And I told him, I was like, you know, AA Tactical, whatever. And I got him to go up there one time, and then that was pretty much it. Yeah. That was like, he was like, yep, I'm going there from now on, you know, because it's a great place. Yeah. And, you know, Andrew and April, they're cool.
They are.
They're awesome.
They've really become like family to me.
Yeah, dude. They're so cool. And once I found out Andrew was doing the machining stuff, I was like, hey, man, I was like, you need to get a hold of Sean. I was like, he's the one that taught me how to machine, and this dude is insane with machines. And I was like, he'll teach you anything you want to know. Yeah. And they got in, you know, contact with one another, and from what I understand, you know, Andrew being as driven as he is, he's picked it up. He is amazingly, you know.
He friggin' eats, drinks, breathes that stuff.
Yeah, dude. It's so cool though.
It is really cool watching, because I don't know shit about it, but I'm watching him, and I've watched him from when I first started. It was like just him like bouncing around these machines, like figuring shit out, and you can see him like figuring out what he needed to do. Then he hired somebody, and now he's got 2 or 3 people. And dude,
it's awesome.
He's got another building, and now we're about to have 7 new machines.
Dude,
like
it is legit,
and it's all from just he had an idea of making parts in the United States, like having like made in America shit.
Yeah, man, and that's all it takes. Yeah, that's all it takes, man. And you know they started. So I kind of knew them before they really had AA. Yeah. Back when we actually had a bowling alley, my dad was the head coach out for the youth program that they had on like Saturday mornings. And April and Andrew had their daughters out there bowling. And Dad taught them how to bowl and everything. And so he would periodically talk to them, and, you know, they would tell him, like, hey, we got this idea of, you know, setting up a gun store or whatever. Yeah. And I guess at one point, you know, April was talking to him about it, and then they finally got that location locked down. Yeah. And they set it all up, and we went out there, you know, and got to, you know, hang out and, you know, see everything they had going on. Yeah. And I think I had bought, at that point I had like 3 guns. And I had just bought a 4th. It was that Larry Vickers Glock.
Yeah. Thing was
From-
insane.
I got that from like Dan's.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
right. It's like a
Yeah.
pawn shop.
It was like the same
They
price
didn't know what
as
the
a-
fuck they
yeah,
had.
no idea.
Yeah.
No clue.
You're lost, buddy.
Stolen.
Yeah.
But
Oh man.
after that, I haven't bought anything from anywhere else other than AA.
Yeah.
You know, besides like ammo.
Yeah. Well,
Which,
you
you
gotta
know,
do what you gotta do with
yeah,
that.
And
It's just cool seeing how they grow, how
Yeah.
they've grown. I get people coming there all the time like, man, I remember when this place was.
yeah, this big,
Yeah.
you know,
I didn't see it when it was like that, but
dude. You,
Yeah. now that I'm there, I'm like, I'm watching it, and it's like, it's an eating animal, dude. It's growing and growing, and I'm excited to be a part of it because he's really
There-
taking care of me a lot. Because
yeah,
he took a chance on me hiring me because he knew, you know, my background, getting in trouble here and there, and the fact that I've worked at another gun shop,
yeah,
and but they gave me a chance, and they're sticking with me, man. It taught me a lot. I'm learning a lot. Pretty much now, what I do is just gunsmithing and Cerakoting, and
Yeah.
now I'm literally just learning, kind of teaching myself a lot of shit. You know, it's kind of it's cool. It's cool figuring that shit. I mean, I bet machining is kind of the same way. You know,
It
it's
is.
kind of coming about.
it
like,
is. It's
You
it's
have
cool.
those eureka moments all the time, like, oh shit, there it is.
Dude, I love machining just because like you can take a block of aluminum, you know,
Yeah,
and like 6 different people, and they're gonna do it 6 different ways
Yeah,
to get the
for
same finished product,
yeah.
you know, and it's to me that's insane.
Dude, and
Like-
technology with those machines and stuff now,
Yeah.
it's fucking nuts. Like I
It's
didn't know
crazy.
that there's like scanners that I can put my pair of glasses in there and I can scan it
Yep.
and give you a fucking a program
Yeah.
to go chop this thing out of a block.
Yeah, it'll throw up a 3D
Yeah.
model, and
Yeah.
it'll take that model, and all you basically have to determine is what tools you want to use, and then
Yeah.
it'll pop out G code for you.
Yeah, it's insane.
And you know, you just basically run through the G code, make sure everything is spick and span. You set your machine up, and fucking
Yeah.
throw it in there, and then bam,
yeah,
done.
there it is.
It's crazy. And then you got all this other stuff with materials. You know, like
different kinds of
like
materials and
some craziness like molybdenum or something like that. You know, it's like the hardest material that we have, like that we can like use on Earth or something like that. It's
Yeah.
something crazy. It's like chromium amount is insane, and it has tons of nickel in it.
yeah, you're getting
then-
on that nerd shit,
Dude, yeah,
Yeah.
no. Then you got like Inconel that's like the same way, you know, and it's crazy. And it's like
Dude.
titanium, like what 10 years ago
That was the
was like nobody messes with it.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah, nobody messes with it because it's so hard to machine.
Yeah.
And now we're like, oh, it's like butter. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we got it down now. You know,
yeah. Fuck that shit. I want
Like-
something harder.
like you got on YouTube Titans of CNC.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of
I
this
think
stuff?
I don't know if it was him because I seen it was a machine that was like I don't know if the 5th axis machine or what I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It was
But
probably
a
something
machine
crazy, yeah.
that started with a block and he literally carved a fucking skull out of this block.
Yeah, it was
and
probably-
and I don't think
yeah.
I don't think he had to adjust the part at all.
Yeah, it's probably him. Yeah,
I think it the part just like
Yeah.
turned
that
and,
was a
and
5
did
axis
whatever.
for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we got.
Dude.
We got coming.
Yeah.
I think
Those
Yeah.
things are nuts, man. The stuff.
Either we have them or they're coming. I don't know. I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck I'm looking at back there. Tell
But-
you the truth.
Titans of CNC. This dude, man, he went to jail for I don't remember what,
Yeah.
but when he was in prison, he started taking classes, machining classes, and now he owns like I think the #1 like aerospace.
Dude, that's
You know,
so badass.
It's nuts, dude.
He went to prison.
Yeah, and he teaches
Wow.
people like for free almost.
Yeah.
You know, like everything that he knows, and all he asks is that you put in the effort.
Yeah.
And like, dude, he is nuts. He pushes the limits of machining so hard.
I
It's
bet.
like, most of the time heat is what kills parts. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If you get a tool that's just
Yeah.
is burning up,
yeah,
going,
and it's not gonna cut as good, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna break.
you learn
whatever.
that from just manually drilling
Yeah,
shit.
like I feel like pioneered like what they call high speed machining.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You can watch some stuff of his, like he'll take an end mill around steel, cutting off layers, and it's literally just going this fast, and just tearing up steel. And it's
Yeah.
like, how is that like possible, and it's all science, dude.
It's all
And
science
nuts.
and how much pressure you're putting against
Yeah.
the end mill and the piece
Yeah.
and the pressure going. Yeah.
And it's like, and it's happening so fast, and he'll even talk about it, and titanium, and he does the same thing. He'll push
Yeah.
tools to the limits. He'll push his machines to the limits, and like he'll do. There's a couple of them on there. He'll take his machines, and most of your machines, I think, like 99.9% of them have
Yeah.
a spindle load, like bar on there.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll like work all the way up to 100% spindle load, and then it'll go into the red, kind of like red line in a car.
Yeah.
And he'll take a material and he will like full slot, like with like a 1/2 inch or a full inch end mill, which is like full slot with that kind of stuff. And he'll just bury that thing in there and go at it and see how much that spindle will take, or how
Yeah.
much he can make it take before it decides it's going to quit,
Yeah.
And he does it very mathematically and scientifically. And
That's so
dude,
crazy.
it's nuts.
That's cool to see somebody come from, a shit situation and
Yeah.
like do something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's crazy.
Dude, he has made a huge like impact in machining.
So what you do now, since how we kind of got off of it. So what you do now is you write programs. I
No,
still don't know what the
so-
fuck it is you do. I know you
don't-
travel.
I don't even machine anymore, really. Like
Yeah.
the most machining I'll do is back here.
Yeah, little
And,
fix
like,
it type
I'll
shit.
go like, I think right now I have to make like a little cover plate, and it's
Yeah.
literally like this big, and it's got like 3 countersunk holes in it. That's it.
Yeah.
And if I'm on the road, if I have to do any machining, it's more just fabrication.
Yeah.
Or-
For maintenance.
Yeah, something like that. Or like, hey, yo, this plate is done for. We need a new one.
Yeah.
And like, I'll get some material, and I basically have to
Write down. You have to kind of get the measurements and write your program.
Well, so we don't even have CNCs or manual mills or anything.
Yeah.
So on the road, most of the stuff that I'm doing is either with a small like tabletop lathe,
Yeah.
or it's with hand drills. Like hand drills and like shears and
Yeah.
hacksaws and stuff. So, but
So caveman shit.
yeah, no, pretty much. But we make it, we make it work, and it's
Yeah.
and it's still like it falls within whatever spec it has to,
Yeah.
And but basically what I do is we have a team of dudes that we go out to a site,
Yeah.
radars on there, and we tear apart the radar and totally gut and rebuild
Yeah.
whatever needs to be done, per whatever customer, says what, they want to keep, they
Yeah.
want to get rid of, what they want renewed, whatever. But it's pretty crazy because you'll see like massive radars.
Like that you didn't even know was in those areas.
Yeah, like stuff like that. And then it's like, it's nothing like crazy, like people are like, oh, classified information,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And it's like, what we do isn't, it's not
Yeah.
a big deal. I think if we have to do any of that, it's a specific set of people that go out.
Yeah.
And right now I'm not one of them. So,
Really?
Yeah. But like these radars, dude, they're like the size of April and Andrew's like building.
That's crazy,
And
dude.
we take like 6 to 8 weeks and totally tear it apart,
Yeah.
sand everything, dismantle everything, paint all of it, wash it, put it all back together, and it works.
That's so crazy,
And
dude.
it's like watching it happen is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I
It's
bet.
insane.
I bet.
I'm over here like, dude, like I didn't even know what a radar was before I started working here, and I'm like tearing them apart.
So you started working there because of your machining background, and,
Yeah.
then it just kind of led it.
And yeah, like literally radars just landed in my lap somehow,
That's cool, man. That's cool. Shit like that happens every now and
I still don't really know how it happened,
then. Yeah.
like I literally went from machining, and I'm pretty sure at any point in time my boss could have just been like, no, you're just going to be a machinist.
So you literally been doing that kind of shit since you got out of the military? You like went to college, and then your
think
college
it was
kind
like
of
20
landed you into that?
I want to say the middle of 2016 or
Yeah.
2017 that I started in Pensacola, and then it was like not quite a full year after that I started at BAE.
Yeah.
But-
BAE has so many different jobs from what I remember. I think I used to do construction on the base, on the EOD base, and I think BAE actually, they have the unexploded ordnance guys.
Yeah,
I
something
think
like that.
Yeah, I think they've got
I-
people that do that.
I know they have like 4 or 5 different sectors,
Yeah.
and then they're all over the U.S. Like we delivered some radars to New Mexico, and we ran into a dude out there that was out there working on some very classified like stuff
Yeah.
that he couldn't really tell us about, but he's like, yeah, it's radioactive. And that's like all he could say,
Yeah.
you know, and we're like, oh, that's
Well,
cool. And like he legit, like where he worked at every day
Mhm.
was like, if we were to walk over there and said guards, you know, ask for our ID and we don't present it in a timely manner, it's like shoot on sight.
Oh.
So we were like, yeah, we're not going to talk to this guy a whole lot, you know, but
Get the hell out of here.
yeah, no. And then another dude, he was delivering some land assault vehicles, some very modified land assault vehicles.
Military ones or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I don't know what branch it was.
Yeah.
That one was in Yuma, so I mean, it could have been Army
yeah.
or Marines, you know. But he said he had been out there for like 9 months, and I was like, bro, I need that
Golly.
paycheck. 9 months worth of per diem, you know?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Dude, I kind of wish, so I was infantry, I kind of wish I did like mechanics, like helicopter mechanic or something
Yeah,
like that. Because,
yeah.
dude, there's so much money in that kind of shit.
There is, man. I tell you, when
I
I
was such a
enlisted,
knucklehead, dude.
dude,
I was like, man, I just want to be infantry.
yeah, I was not thinking of my future when
Yeah.
I picked my job, you know,
Yeah.
because like my idea was like my mom was super against infantry.
Yeah. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah, I wanted it too. I straight up was like, I want to go recon, and
Yeah.
then basically she found out recon was infantry, and she was like, I don't want you going recon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, like, what are you talking about? She's like, go intel, and then I came up with security forces,
Yeah.
and the recruiter basically told me like, yeah, you're gonna do this much security forces, this much infantry, and I was like, that's how I do it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trick her.
Yeah. Once I get in the
ended up
door, it's
screwing
whatever.
myself. You know? No, I'm
Dude.
presidential.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. You know, we've been at this shit for almost 2 hours now.
That's nuts.
An hour and 51 minutes.
That's a long podcast.
That is.
6:30.
Yeah. Dude, I think we'll probably just call it here and then probably do it again.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Yeah,
like I
it was
said,
pretty
I
cool.
don't even care.
So this is my first one, man.
Nice.
First one with a guest, and it's your first time being on one.
Hell yeah, dude. I for real have thought about doing podcasts before.
Yeah.
I have have a YouTube channel, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's like
Fitness one.
golf.
Golf?
Yeah, I have a thing for golf, man.
Oh wait a minute! Before we like end it, let's get into that and your powerlifting a little bit. That was some of the questions I had that I want to
right,
get
yeah,
into.
yeah.
So all right, golf. Where the fuck did golf come from?
So one of my down and dirty, one of my brother's best friends was in the Army.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, he got blown up in
Mhm.
Iraq. Came back. He was in Texas, you know, doing the rehab thing.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. And then he came back to Crestview and medically retired, has half a foot, you know, tons of skin grafts all over his side, still has shrapnel, all this good stuff.
Yeah.
They recommended him to do an outdoor activity to help keep his mobility and everything up, or else he would basically tighten up and be worthless.
Hold on.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. You take a piss or anything? Good.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, before I knew my camera had a fucking. Oh, my battery's getting low. Hold on. Change the battery. Before I knew my camera had a fucking timer, or that it wouldn't run past 30 minutes.
If you got the computer to run it, once you
edit it?
upload, yeah.
Dude.
Like everything I've done so far has come out super choppy on the new one. So
Really?
yeah.
I edit all my shit. When I very first started my YouTube channel, I was trying to do fitness. Am I recording? My camera's fucking sideways. All right. When I first started my channel, I was trying to do fitness shit,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's fucking actually turned out to be more boring than I thought.
Yeah.
Like recording fitness stuff sucks, dude. But I was doing it with an old GoPro, and then I would edit it. I had a fucking laptop, but it was old as fuck, so it couldn't keep up with anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I transfer it from my GoPro. I didn't have a way to get it on my phone, so I transferred it to the tab or to the computer, laptop, to my phone. I'd edit it, and then I like upload it from YouTube
Yeah.
from my phone.
Yeah.
And that after that, I got like a gaming computer to edit on, and then now I have a Apple tablet. And dude, that's the sweetest thing to edit on ever. It's so easy to use.
I've got an old MacBook from like 2015.
Yeah,
And that's what I edit on and everything, or try to.
I forgot.
It just comes out so choppy. Like,
Huh? You might need to just get upgrade. You might need to upgrade your tablet.
I think I need to.
Because that's what happens when I was trying to edit my shit on my laptop.
Yeah.
It would be choppy as fuck. Like I couldn't even play back right.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
It can't handle it.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, get you a new tablet or something. There's an app on my tab I paid one time for, and I use it to edit.
Yeah.
I used to use like Adobe Premiere Pro, but that's like a monthly fee, and then there's all kinds of other editors that you pay monthly. But there's one app, and it's only for iPads that you can get, and it does everything for you. But it's a one-time fee. So fucking golf. Your guy, medically retired.
So he got blown up and everything, came back and told him to stay active. So he decided he was going to pick up golf, right?
Yeah.
And it all happened. Once he got back, he got this huge TV, like straight up like a 70-inch TV or something, like barely fitting in the house. He put it at our house because it wouldn't fit in his house.
Yeah.
So he had his Xbox over there, and he's all the time playing Tiger Woods. And then it like clicked on him, I guess, to go play real golf.
Yeah.
So he did that, drug my brothers along. They drug my dad along, and then subsequently I came along. And immediately I loved it just because, I found Tiger Woods, and I was like, Tiger Woods, he's fucking awesome.
His game used to be the shit.
Yeah, man, he was cool. So I'm out on like Foxwood, trying to learn how to play golf.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Foxwood.
Hey, they're supposed to come back.
Hey, man, they need to
open at the end of the year.
You think so?
Yeah.
Dude, my buddy Grant bought a house down there with PJ, and that's like one of the reasons he wanted to move there.
Yeah.
And it's too bad.
Yeah, they're supposed to be reopening though.
They ought to, man. I feel like I don't know. I don't know what happened behind that, but
but so I played a couple years in high school, not for the high school or anything. I wasn't good enough.
Yeah, we did have a golf team.
Yeah, and so I did that, and then left for the Marine Corps. I picked it back up in like 2013 for a little bit, and then I would play every now and then when I'd come home. And then I got out 2015, and I really just started picking it back up the last couple, like year and a half.
Yeah.
And dude, it sucks, man.
It's
so bad.
Dude, it's one of those sports, like my friend Grant, he really likes it a lot, and he's went quite a bit. But you literally, out of a week's time, in order to be like good, good, you gotta go, man. You gotta go all the time, and it literally if you take a couple of days off, 4 or 5 days off, it'll kind of, it seems that it'll kind of mess you up. It seems like one day you go and you're on, and the next day you can't hit the ball worth shit, like you cannot hit it right.
Yeah, dude, that's what keeps me coming back though, is because it's so hard. It's like it's like one of those few things that you find that like you're trying to master and you just can't do it. And,
but then you get like a little bit of a break, like you're like, oh, I figured something out. But then the next time you go, what you thought you figured out,
it just doesn't work.
It's like, what the fuck is it not working?
Yeah. It's terrible, man.
I've never even played golf. I've just done like goofy golf. But just talking to Grant, that's the story he gives me all the time.
He's not wrong. I mean, that's how it is, dude. Like, it sucks.
And you spend all that money on golf clubs. They can get it stupid expensive.
They can, dude. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if you pick up golf, Facebook Marketplace for like used clubs, and eBay for like old clubs. Like the new clubs and everything are cool, but you just need clubs.
Dude, we went to the golf shop. There's one in Destin. Yeah. Oh man. Drivers, $400 or $500 drivers and shit.
Dude, new ones are going for $550.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But they did have that badass like screen in there where you could like
you can hit and everything.
So you started a YouTube channel for golf?
I did, man. I wanted
like tips or like just record yourself fucking golfing.
Just basically the first couple I've done is just recording myself, playing golf.
Yeah,
pretty much. Like I got a couple videos out at the driving range. I've got a couple. I think I've got one video of me in like my backyard, just hitting some golf balls around, like practicing and stuff like that. And like my idea was, because I had watched all these other golf channels, and like there's one, it's called Good, and they're just kids, and they've been playing golf forever, and they go out and they make tons of videos, and they're awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, dude, I want to do that. So, like, I went out there and I was like, I'm going to put a twist on it because, like, I'm not good at golf. I'm never going to say that, you know, like, I'm never going to be like, yeah, I'll whoop your ass on the course. Like, no, dude, not me. I'm going to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to get frustrated.
But I'm going to struggle.
Yeah, but, like, I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a golf channel for, like,
Normal
the average
golfers.
dudes,
Yeah.
you know? Like, so I did Joe Schmo. Yeah, Joe
pretty cool.
Schmo Golf.
Yeah.
And I think I have, like, a video that's got like 9 views. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. 9 views.
Yeah, hey, dude, it takes a lot to step out on
Yeah.
the ledge and actually like make a
Dude,
video. What's hard to do is tell your friends about the video.
Yeah, because you do criticism, man.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
But I never really thought about making a YouTube channel until Brad Arbic came around. So Brad Arbic, he is a national record holding power lifter.
Yeah.
He was 7th special. He used to go to.
So he was here.
Yeah, he was here for a while. And I did a couple of charity things to raise money for him to go to nationals to powerlift and set some records and stuff. And he was real tied up with MaxFit at the time. And then he decided one of those charity things he was going to do like a MaxFit giveaway.
Yeah.
And it was a deadlift challenge. And
At MaxFit?
Yeah.
The challenge
MaxFit.
was at MaxFit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was dudes are doing double body weight, as many reps as possible. Chicks are doing their body weight, as many reps as possible. And I ended up winning that.
Were you into powerlifting when you did that? Or
Yes.
Already in? When did the powerlifting start? This is kind of the 2 questions there. Like, when did you start powerlifting? Like, not just working out, because obviously people go to the gym, but what brought powerlifting about?
So when I was at Camp David, one of my best friends up there, he's a professional rugby player now.
Yeah.
And I went to the gym with him a few times because he'd always, you know, shit on me, you know, like, dude, you're like 150 pounds and like you're running, you know, because I was a runner.
Yeah.
And for us, our max score for the run is a 3-mile run. You had to run 18 minutes or less for the 100 points.
Yeah.
And consistently, I was under 18 minutes.
Fucking
But
hate
like,
running.
my pull-ups were always hit or miss. Like, I was either getting 20 or I was getting 10. Like,
I wish we had pull-ups in my PT test because
Dude.
by the time it was time for me to be in the military, dude, I was smashing pull-ups.
I hated pull-ups.
I fucking loved
I still
them.
hate pull-ups.
Dude, yeah, I suck out. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
do it. I fucking suck now, but pull-ups were hard to master. And but yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
so you were running and
Yeah, so
sucked at pull-ups.
So he drug me along to the gym a few times, and one of the days we did deadlifts,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like keeping up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to say I was keeping up with him because he was a lot stronger than I was.
Yeah.
But like, I was pulling and everything almost the same weights and everything he was, which I guess at that point in time, I think he was pulling high 3s.
Yeah.
And he was like super impressed. And he's like, you need to start like working out.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of, you know, pushed it off for a while there. And then I got to the Fleet, right? And I'm in 2.9, and it's great. I'm this, you know, runner kid. You know, I can run for days.
You can stand out if you're good at PT. Like,
Yeah.
you stand out.
You can.
Sure.
You really can. It's kind of flawed in that sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can be dumb as a box of rocks, but if you can PT,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like, we had this kid, he's like 6'3",
Yeah.
and at that time he was like 240, and we're in full kit and we're doing fireman's carries and stuff, and like, this dude obviously doesn't have a partner, and I was like, I went up to him and I was like, dude, I'll carry you. He's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got you, dog. And like, almost died getting him up on my shoulders, you know.
Yeah, it's no
and then
fun.
like, I got like halfway there, and like immediately it was just like dead. And like, you know, I'm got him to the end, and he's like, wow, I'm surprised you even made it 3 steps. And I'm like, dude, me too. Like,
Yeah.
and then like, at that point, I was like, all right, I got to get stronger. Because like, in my head, we still had no idea where we were going. And I was like, if we were to actually go somewhere and this dude gets shot up,
You know
and
now
like, yeah,
how much it's
I'm
going to
like,
suck.
I'm like, I get, you know, the whole, like, people are like, you know, you don't know what kind of adrenaline rush it is. And I'm like, you're right, I don't. But I'm going to make sure that I can do it without an adrenaline rush, you know. So if anything does happen, I know I'm able to.
For sure.
So that's when I started getting in the gym, and then
Which is weird because powerlifting doesn't like translate to good cardio
it doesn't.
normally. Like
No,
it doesn't at all.
It doesn't. If you're a geared power lifter,
Yeah.
you have zero cardio.
Yeah.
If you're doing it like natty,
Yeah.
it is some of the best cardio. You hit some 10
Oh, yeah.
sets of 10 for squats, dude. You're going to be
Fuck yeah.
sucking wind afterwards. It sucks.
Dude, for so long I never did those big exercises. I was scared of them.
Yeah.
Squats.
Yeah.
I used to always use the leg press machine and shit like that, and deadlifts, just because those are two of the most technical lifts,
Yeah.
but two of the most rewarding lifts.
Yeah.
I mean, once you figure them out, though, then it gets kind of addictive.
Yeah. So that pushed me into the gym.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple of dudes in the platoon that were like powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
And one of the guys set me on to 531, which is a basic starter powerlifting program.
5-3-1.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then basically it gives you like a layout for the big three.
Yeah.
And then you fill everything else in. And that's how I started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that the whole time I was in the Marine Corps. And I think I got out of the Marine Corps, I could pull 425.
Had you done any competitions while you were in the Marines?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know there was like I knew what powerlifting, that it was a thing
Yeah.
because of 531, but I didn't know that it was like a sport like it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got out and I started going to Riviera, I hooked up with Josh,
Yeah.
and
He's
me
a
and him.
freaking monster.
He's a
That
beast,
dude
man.
is so insane.
His genetics are
and
nuts.
dude,
Dude,
he's so
nuts,
flexible.
man.
Do you ever
Yeah.
do yoga with him?
Dude, I
like-
tried.
He's like, dude, you're
yeah,
fucking like 200 and something pounds. You're like standing
Yeah.
on your head.
He's
Get
been
the
doing that
fuck
stuff
outta
since
here,
he was
dude.
like, I think like 9 or 10. He's
Yeah.
been doing yoga stuff.
He's
And it's
a
like,
freak of
and
nature,
It
dude.
shows, man. Like,
It's kind of cool that he joined the
Yeah.
Marines, dude. That kind of
I-
hit me out of. That was kind of crazy.
so I used to say it before he was in the Marines.
Yeah.
I was like, he gives up so quick
Yeah.
on himself. Like, I've watched him lift a ton.
Yeah.
I've watched him lift. I've lifted, with him more than him. He's lifted more than me. Like, we always used to go back and
Yeah.
forth. And like in my head, I know what I would have been able to do before the Marine Corps.
'Cause he's
and, like,
young.
Afterwards,
How old do you think?
he's the same age as me.
Oh.
We're 28,
Yeah. Okay.
29,
All right, I
something
thought
like
he was a
that.
little younger than that.
Yeah. But I would always see that and I was like, dude, if he had the mindset that like I know that he could have
Yeah.
doing, some of the dumb shit I've done in the
Yeah.
Marine Corps, like he would be doing this no problem.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't even phase him. And I don't know how it is now. I know he's not like super into powerlifting anymore because
Yeah.
he had to get out of it so he could get into the Marine Corps. He had to,
Get his cardio back up.
cardio, had to drop a whole bunch of weight. But me and him went and did like our first powerlifting event.
Yeah.
And it was like a charity thing.
This was after the deadlift thing at Max Fit.
This was before that.
Okay. So Max Fit wasn't your first little
No.
competition.
No. So we went and did what was the name of it?
Was it in Full Walton Beach?
No, it was in Atmore.
Oh.
It was something for heroes. It was a cancer thing.
Yeah.
And it was in just this tiny like community gym. Cool dude put it on.
Yeah.
And like it was just super cool and the atmosphere was nuts. And like everybody was cheering everybody on. Like it wasn't like I'm better than you,
Yeah, that's how
And-
bodybuilding is kind
Yeah.
of. Bodybuilding is kind of like the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding meets is like powerlifting, you either do the lift or you don't.
Yeah.
Which there probably, if you dive into that, there probably are times where like the judges are like,
Yeah.
fuck
Judges
this guy.
are iffy. Yeah.
But bodybuilding is completely judges are like it's a spectator sport and
Yeah.
it ain't.
Yeah. I just, dude, from what I've seen, I like the atmosphere for
Of
powerlifting
powerlifting,
so much
yeah.
better than
Bodybuilding's cutthroat, dude.
Yeah.
It's
like-
it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
You know?
Like powerlifting, like if you find somebody that's trying to put you down
Yeah.
as far as, lifting and everything, like it's few and far between.
Yeah.
you know?
They seem like a closer community for sure.
Yeah. And like, once we did that, one of the guys there came to both of us and he was like, yo, I'm putting on a meet.
Mm-hmm.
This is the federation. This is when it is. You guys need to be there.
Yeah.
And so we did. It was Southern Powerlifting Federation. It was in Chatham, Alabama. And one of the guys there, his name's Cameron Moss. He's
Yeah.
young. I don't know how old he is now. I think he's like 23. But when he did that, he was like, I think 18 or 19 when he did that one. And
Yeah.
he pulled like 7 something.
God,
Deadlifted 7
dude.
something. He squatted like 6 something. And now
That's
he's
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure his next meet, he said something like, I think he wants to pull like 900 pounds.
Man, dude.
It's insane. And this kid is young.
That's
dude.
scary.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
Natty?
though. Yeah,
Think?
yeah. His dad owned the gym that we competed at and everything.
That's crazy. You can get to that
And then-
level, like, just through sheer
Yeah.
training and nutrition.
Yeah, but so that meet happened, and I think I pulled like 520
Yeah.
that meet.
That's a lot
and then
still.
the other meet in
Huh.
Alabama, the next one, I pulled 585. And I had, at that point when I pulled it, I know because I said it in my head, I was like, dude, I got 100 more pounds.
Yeah.
Easy.
When you
like,
pulled that 5?
When I pulled
580?
585, I was like 100 more pounds. I was like, I want to go, like, it was my 3rd attempt, so I,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't get to have a 4th attempt. I didn't have a record or anything to say.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to pull, you know, I was like, immediately I went 585, and I was like, goal 700. And then, so I started really getting into the training and everything for that.
Yeah.
And then the deadlift thing happened at MaxFit. And that's when I thought about YouTube, because Brad was making a YouTube video that whole time.
Yeah.
And he's actually got it on YouTube still, Deadlift Challenge or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can watch all the competitors go through and everything. And it was so cool. And I was like, I never thought about YouTube until then. And I was like, maybe I should make a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was thinking, you know, gym,
Yeah.
deadlift, squat, bench, you know, whatever. And then, like, I just never did it.
It's a boring, to me, I started trying to bring my camera to the gym. I don't know if you've seen any of my gym videos I did, but they fucking suck, dude. It's like boring as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in there with your,
Yeah.
especially if it's just you recording, you're like, all right, we'll fucking set this up and I'm going to do some bench.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some squat. I don't know.
I
It got
record
boring.
like little Instagram clips every now and then, just to like
That's different. Yeah.
mainly just keep my own progress, you know,
Yeah,
like
for
set
sure.
up. But
It's good, too, to look back and be like, oh, man, my form's fucked up right there. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
yeah. But yeah, after the deadlift thing at MaxFit, I think I did like 2 or 3 more tournaments
Yeah.
or competitions, and I made some great friends along the way. Like the guy, his name's JP. He owns M3 Strength and Conditioning in Fort Walton Beach.
Okay.
That dude is an animal, man.
Yeah.
He is a monster, and he is stupid smart. He's another guy. He was in prison,
Really?
and he got out, and I think him and his brother opened up M3, and within a matter of like years, they went like 4 different locations because they've
That's
had to
badass.
upsize.
Yeah.
And now he has this insane gym, and his philosophy and everything is absolutely amazing, because it's the 3 M's are modern muscle movement.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to be. He's what I feel like CrossFit should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's keeping it to the basics.
he's keeping it like straight up proper, you know, and smart. So
Yeah.
He's smart about it, and he's building athletes. You know, he's taking the gym stuff to the sports.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like what Tiger Woods did with golf.
I've
you
seen
know?
some savages working at the prison. I've seen some
Dude, there's
freaking
some
beasts
animals, man.
that, and all you have there in prison is like body weight, or like you can grab
Yeah.
all your shit and put it
Yeah.
in a blanket and use that. But
That's
I've seen them
another
do some body weight.
Another
shit.
great YouTube channel is Jailhouse Strong.
Oh yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen that. I used to watch Collie Muscle, but he's freaking juice head, dude.
Collie's nuts, man.
He is nuts.
Yeah.
What's up, baby? Huh? Okay, let him outside. She wants to be out here so bad.
Yeah. You're going to have to do an episode with her, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Just interview my daughter.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I'm like, go on, Athena.
Oh,
She's like,
she
man, I
must smell
smell
my
somebody.
dogs.
Yeah, she's a
Pretty.
nice dog.
Hi, pretty. What you doing?
All right,
Oh,
going
man.
outside. Outside, crazy. Her name is Athena, but she's the biggest pushover I've ever seen. Like I got her, they were calling her
Yeah.
Willow. The people that had her before, like Willow,
Yeah.
because she's so chill. I was like, nah, dude, I'm gonna name her Athena,
Monster.
goddess of war. Nah,
She's
not
like, nah,
really.
I'm good.
She's like,
I'm
oh,
good."
new guy. Oh, come pet me, dude. Yeah. So, what's your? You kind of talking about your power. What's your? your PR with deadlifting. Did you ever hit that
So
700?
I did a couple of times.
700 is a fucking lot of weight, dude.
Dude, it sucks.
It's a lot of
honestly,
weight.
Like,
It sounds scary as shit. Was that with a belt or anything? Like, did you
Yeah.
have any gear on?
so I've pulled it.
Did you have a suit?
No suit, just a regular singlet. I've
Yeah.
pulled it twice with just a belt, no straps, and I pulled it twice with belt and straps. So
So you pulled it with no straps?
yeah. So those were the two that I pulled in competition, but
Yeah.
neither were white lights.
Oh,
I got
really?
red lights on both. I pulled it and I locked out, but both times they called me for hitching.
Oh, so
So, yeah.
hitching is when I'm just guessing that hitching is once you get it kind of above your knees. It's almost like you're slinging.
Yeah, kind of like their idea of hitching is like you get it to a certain point and then you use like your
Momentum.
upper leg is like a ramp kind of
Yeah.
instead of
Okay.
which for me, nothing against judges. Totally, I totally get why
Yeah.
they're red lighting me and everything. I've looked at it, the footage, and
Yeah.
like I see what it is, and I felt it when I did it and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to argue with them at all.
Yeah.
I will still forever say just how I did. I pulled it. I was red lighted.
Yeah.
But
But to you, it's still, I mean,
yeah,
you
I
still
pulled
hit
it.
it.
I pulled it. Is it competition legal? No. But
Yeah.
the most I ever pulled white lights in competition was 694.
that's still a lot.
I went 694. The last tournament I ever competed in, it was December 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I squatted 501. I know I had more in the tank.
Yeah.
'Cause I did it and I was like, there's no way that was that easy. And like I asked, like, that was 501? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, no way. Because it was easy. And
Yeah.
like squat is like for me like the hardest thing because it always feels heavy for me.
Yeah. Squat is tough.
It sucks, dude.
It's one of those
Yeah.
exercises where when I first started doing squats a lot, dude, I would almost always feel like I was gonna fucking pass out when I racked it.
Yeah, always. And then I benched 347.
Yeah.
It was like 347 and a half, but whatever. I wanted 360 and it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I went 675, 694, and then 711. 711 came off the floor and that was it. Like, I didn't have nothing else at the end of that.
Yeah.
But so I did that. The tournament before that one, I pulled 7 and got red lighted. And twice before that, I had pulled 700. It's actually a crazy story. I pulled 700 for the first time in Riviera
In the gym.
and it was the coolest feeling ever. And like literally 3 days later, I worked out with JP at M3
Yeah.
and I pulled 715 reverse band
Oh,
in
okay.
his gym. And I didn't even think that was gonna happen. I was like, dude, I just did this 3 days ago. I was like, I still feel like I'm dying on the inside,
Yeah.
And then pulled that, and then like I didn't touch anything close to 700 up until that next tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So that's kind of, dude, that's crazy. 700 pounds. That's a lot of damn weight.
it sucks, honestly. Like the most I've done recently is like 650.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the most recent I pulled was 635 when I was in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I had to establish dominance over Michigan State's university.
Yeah.
And we
You
worked
had to
out
go
at
in
their
there?
campus gym.
Yeah.
And I'm an Ohio State fan, so I
Had
had
to
to
do
roll in there. And
That's funny, dude. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have got into deadlifting. I mean, not deadlifting, but powerlifting. I got into just hanging around like my best friend. So Grant, his brother Corey, he's in a bodybuilding. He's done a
Yeah.
couple shows, and he, like, I didn't see him for when we were in high school. I didn't see him because he ended up moving like to Baker. He started working. He started going to school there and working out, and I didn't really work out, dude. When I was getting out of high school, I couldn't do shit. Like, I could not do 20 push-ups.
dude, I
couldn't do anything.
Man. I was terrible. I could run. That was it.
Yeah, my dad took me to a gym, and it was Gold's Gym in Fort Walton. It was when they were where the old Riviera was.
Yeah.
There used to be a Gold's there,
Yeah.
and then it was another gym, and then it was Riviera. And so I went there, and I was like, dang, dude. I had so much fun, even though I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just hopping around all the machines and working out.
Yeah.
I felt like I was at a theme park. And then I was like, dang, man. So this is what it's like, because I didn't play no sports in high school. I just played basketball out on the street.
Yeah.
And so I joined up at a gym, and I started working out. And I didn't see that dude for like 2 or 3 years. And one day I randomly seen him, and he was jacked.
Massive.
Yeah, I was like, what happened to you, dude? And he moved to Baker and didn't do nothing but work out.
Yeah.
So I started, we started going around. He was working out at Riviera, and he ended up working at Riviera. And just going to those bodybuilding shows, it was pretty cool, seeing the shows. But then after a while, you start noticing, like, there's a few really popular bodybuilders that they used to compete.
Yeah.
That there's no way they should have won.
Yeah.
Where they were at. Like,
it's very political.
You see a dude that's like super jacked upstairs, and he's fit downstairs, but it's just not a total package. And you know that he shouldn't be winning these things, but because the politics about it, they start winning and stuff. So that kind of turns you off about that whole atmosphere. Of course, I never had the drive to do it.
I don't want to have to. I don't want to ever diet like that, dude.
That's almost dangerous, dude. Like my buddy, he used to die when it come down to because dude, you're thirsty, you're hungry. You gotta give it to people that can put themselves through that.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, I remember him taking like a pre-workout. He's like, dude, I can't drink any water. So he's like trying to take these. Back in the day, they had Plasma Jet. It was like 6 pills as a pre-workout. So he's like trying to take that shit with honey. Oh, dude. I was like, dude, there's no fucking way.
I went from 210 to 198 for my first like legit powerlifting tournament.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah,
every minute of it. Like,
and that's only 12 pounds. These guys lose like 20 or 30 pounds.
I wasn't even doing anything crazy, I basically I cut carbs throughout the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And like get a fruit smoothie in the morning, and then it was just meats, and then I'd pretty much eat whatever at dinner.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I dropped quick, and I felt and looked great, but I was like, no. I was like, I hate my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I need carbs.
Yeah, dude, carbs, man. Yeah. What's crazy is whenever you do deplete yourself of carbs, that feeling you get when you actually introduce carbs back, you feel like a fucking monster.
It's amazing.
You feel like you're about to lift a house.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What you need, baby? You just hanging out?
She's ready. She's ready to be on the show.
Yeah. We're going to have to do a podcast with you, huh? Oh, hell no.
Not today.
Yeah. So golfing and powerlifting. You ever do any powerlifting stuff in your YouTube videos?
No. That was relatively recent, like COVID time frame.
Yeah.
Is when I started putting some of that stuff together.
Yeah, I feel like every time I seen you in the gym, like all you'd be doing is like fucking deadlifting.
Yeah, a couple of people are like, "Dude, do you do anything other than legs?" And I'm like, not really. Like, I mean, I do like,
but dude, honestly,
I have a back day and a chest day. That's about it.
Deadlifting does so much of you. Like, there's so much of your body incorporated in that. I mean, honestly, bench press, deadlift, and squat, and I mean,
that's your upper body.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like pulled my pec doing deadlifts.
Wow.
Like I cramped up. And real hard, and dude, that sucked. Like I thought it was tearing when it happened because I've never done anything like that before. So I put it down, and I was like full like contraction, and like this side's relaxed, and I'm like, what is happening right now? And I like ran to the back room and like jumped on the foam roller, and like it hurt for like a week after that. Like I couldn't do anything. It was terrible.
Oh, restart this game. Yeah, I've pulled both my calf muscles at the same time before.
That's terrible.
That was when I first started working out in Fort Walton. I was living in Fort Walton, and I was taking. I didn't use no personal trainer or nothing. I was just taking like at the time. I really wasn't using the internet either because I was using magazines. I'd buy like Muscle and Fitness. I buy Flex and Muscular Development. Remember that crazy ass magazine?
Yeah.
And I would just literally take shit out of there and just because they lay out complete routines for you, and I just do that. And it was a 3-day split. It was for beginners, so or if I remember right, so you go in, you'll do upper body one day, lower body the next, upper body the next, and the next week you'll do opposite. So if you did upper body, lower, upper, then you do lower, upper, lower. Just to kind of get in the routine. Chevy, watch out, get away from that camera. Go back. I'm about to send you back in the house. So, anyways, you do that, and one day I was doing upper body, and I was like, man, I'm gonna do some calf raises on this machine. So I loaded it up, and I guess I pulled I didn't know I pulled them until the next day.
You couldn't
They
walk.
were fucked, dude. It was so bad. And I worked at a restaurant as a host, so I'd like bring people to their table,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stand up straight. I was hobbling all over the place.
Damn.
Yeah, and I've hyperextended both of them at one time.
Yeah.
Before going into the military, I was out there running and doing push-ups and pull-ups, just doing the basic stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to, what I would do, I'd run around the track a bit, and I'd do push-ups, and then before they didn't have that little like workout area, so
Yeah,
I'd go,
Twin Hills.
so
Yeah.
I'd go across the street to the field goal post, and I'd fucking jump up there and do pull-ups
Yeah.
like a maniac.
Yeah.
And one day I jumped down and I didn't go airborne, and I fucking just like just hyperextended.
dirt.
Yeah, dude, hyperextended both of them. It was terrible.
Man, I did that playing baseball one time with my knee. This freaking kid on first base
Yeah.
was just covering first, like completely. And I was like, I'm not, not touching the bag. Like, I'm going to beat this out.
Yeah.
And I stepped on the bag, went full extension, and then just smacked straight into him. Like, hyperextended my knee. I was on the ground, like, rolling around.
Oh, that's
Man,
no good.
That sucked.
I've never had anything shit like that happen.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Ugh. Well, dude, I think we found a good place to end it, huh?
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. Fucking, I might have to chop it up in half. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
know.
an hour
Like
15 or so, or hour
Yeah,
apiece.
yeah. I mean, some people do it. I listen to podcasts that are like 4 hours long.
Yo, Joe Rogan's got like 20 of them that are 4 to 5
Yeah, I
hours.
listen to him a lot. I listen to Jocko a lot, and
Yeah. Jocko's are just too damn motivating, man.
they are. Every
Like,
time, dude, I got 2 of his books too, and
Yeah.
he's a fucking monster.
Every time I listen to Jocko talk, I'm like, all right, I got to re-enlist. Like,
I know, dude. Every time you hear him, you're like, God,
was
what
like,
am I
I
doing?
got to re-enlist. I was like, I got to do something with my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's another one, King of the Sting. It's kind of just a funny one. I
Yeah.
like watching that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those, Jocko's and Joe's really gets like 4 hours. They used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does them like 4 hours anymore, but
Depends on who's on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I still listen to him. I get aggravated because I like watching. I used to like watching him when I was at home,
Yeah.
but now because it's on Spotify, you can't.
Yeah.
You can watch it like on my phone. I can watch the video, but I can't like. There's an app on my TV for Spotify, but you can just listen to it. So,
Damn.
yeah. Anyways, man, it was a good show.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
yeah.
doing this. Maybe we'll do it again.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hopefully, we can get some people to listen to it, man.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
cool. Get some more people on.
We'll find out.
All right, man. Till next
All right,
time.
dude. Yep.
Later.